Oh my god, look at that. It's so cute.
I, I love how every time I press like start, you're it's always something like the first thing the stream hears is always you.
Oh, I didn't know you hit start.
Because as soon as I unmuted your mic, that's all yours. Oh my god.
Because I just got the stream to come up and I seen the overlay and I was like, oh my god, it's so cute.
I tried being the pirate, but it wouldn't let me be the pirate.
So
I'm
what are
upset.
you, a pumpkin?
Yeah, pumpkin.
It's a pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin eater.
Alright. I think we should be good to go. Everything seems like it's working. Except for.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Can they hear us?
I should be able to. There we go. I just adjusted the overlay. I realized there's a little bit on the corner. Everything seems like it's working.
Yep.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Oh, let me turn you up actually.
Me? You have to turn me up?
Just in Discord in general. So for whatever reason, I'm still super loud, but you guys aren't.
Mm,
Alright.
which is backwards from what it normally is.
I know. Alright. I keep forgetting how we start the podcast episodes.
Hey, it's us. We're back for another chaotic
Hey, it's
podcast.
us. We're back.
Oh, and already here go the dogs.
I know this is gonna be a very messy episode. I feel like.
A feeling. I have a feeling
A feeling of what?
that it's gonna be the best episode ever.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, so this is
Got it.
hello everybody. This is What's This a Podcast? And we're going spooky today. How does that sound? Listen to that professionalism.
I don't like how formal it is with the dogs.
Please, it's not normally that formal, but
It isn't, but I'm just letting you take the reins. It's hilarious.
please hold.
See, this can be such a messy episode because there's so much going on in the background,
Yeah.
which is fine. But
Of course, we decided to do this on the day that Deaja's moving.
so it's fine. Obviously, as y'all can tell, we're joined by a special guest.
Oh no, I don't think that they could tell.
No, you don't think?
No. Probably not.
Mark.
I'm gonna need you guys to take the reins for the next like 2 minutes while I update Marx's command because I totally forgot about it.
Oh my god, Piper's tail on my door. Excuse me.
Yeah, so today we're talking, like I said, we're going spooky. And I'm going to talk about H. Holmes. He is the first known American serial killer. Oh, yeah. And then Sandra is going to talk about The Haunting of Annabelle. So, like the Annabelle doll.
I'm actually
You know.
kind of terrified to talk about it. Because
I'm
she's
not
like,
talking about anything.
she's like
And
known to
Marcus
like
is
fuck
here.
with people.
Wait till you hear some of the stuff that H. Holmes has done.
I'm so excited. It sounds weird to say like I'm excited, but like
He is one crazy bastard. Well, was. He's not alive anymore.
He's not?
He died.
He died a very, very long time ago. Over a century ago. So yeah. But
Marcus, real quick.
Yeah, so
huh?
Real quick, your pronouns are he, him, right?
Yes.
He,
He hey. He hey.
Okay, sorry.
And the picture of Marcus that Sandra put on this great overlay that she did, every time I'm just amazed by these overlays. They're just so cute. But that's literally his life, the way he looks in that picture. That's how he feels at all times
Marcus
about
Is
has
everything
this
we
it?
do.
weird thing where he only ever dresses up as a pumpkin,
Yeah.
and
Is
this is actually our way of staging an intervention for him.
is
The
this a
only time
problem
he
that I've had
doesn't
for a long time?
Yeah,
the only time he doesn't dress up as a pumpkin is during Christmas. The whole month of December, he wears a reindeer onesie.
I
reindeer.
think you guys are mistaken because I literally never get out of my pajamas.
I mean, the reindeer onesie is pajamas. You do wear it a lot during December.
The
The reindeer onesie.
not really.
You're lying.
It's too hot. It makes me too hot. You think
You
I
had
wear
it
that to
on like
sleep?
every other day last year
Jesus.
during
Okay.
December.
I would wrap around the top of it around my
Yeah, you still had
my
it on.
waist.
Okay, so yeah, so
I
oh,
can't
you want me
stand
to get?
you.
There's gonna be
You know
so
You want
that?
much
me to get?
bickering during this episode. It's I love it.
Never, never, never. Let's
Never.
keep it professional. Professional,
This is
guys.
obviously the most professional podcast ever, because I
Yep.
You
accidentally
guys
left
wish
it
this was the most professional one.
on. We are, first off, judging by the 10 minutes of starting soon screen that I completely forgot about. It's
I
fine.
mean, you're just gonna edit that out for
I'm
the
gonna edit this entire beginning part out.
YouTube video.
You
It's all
edit?
good.
I do. I have to. There's a lot of
Oh, that's
awkward
insane.
silences.
Whatever.
It's insane.
All right.
All right. So, you guys want me to get started?
Yeah.
No,
Real
Okay.
quick, those are Marcus's links and a little blurb about him. If you guys want to follow him and check him out.
don't do it.
Do
It's
it.
not worth it.
He's my. Also,
Oh
in
yeah.
case some people don't know, Marcus is my son. That's where I get my
He
name.
Wow,
is?
what a
Mama
surprise, bro!
Wait,
Marcus.
I
what?
didn't even know.
Holy shit.
This is insane.
You know what? You guys are assholes.
All
All
right.
right.
I guess we can get started.
Let's
It's a
get
spooky
started.
episode. All of our resources that I used one. Besides, I only used one and wiki.
Oh,
But
really?
all yeah.
I used a lot.
All of our I found a website that was written by the nephew or whatever of Ed and Loraine.
Ooh.
So I was
Oh,
like, I'm
I
gonna use
can't
that.
wait.
Literally, I just read word for word off that website. It's just I don't know. I
Nice.
rearranged some stuff, but like I don't want to mess it up because
Yeah.
Honestly,
Annabelle
it'd be like
scares the hell out of me. I'm about to light a candle behind me just in case.
yeah.
But we are gonna have all of our links to our sources in the description of the YouTube video, along with Marx's social media and ours and all that jazz.
Hours. Hours for what? When I'm awake?
Hours.
Usually I wake up at like 1 p.m.
All
if you
right,
want to get in
so Marcus,
contact with
thank you for being on
me.
the podcast. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to step away for a little bit. Sarcasm is
Shut up.
okay.
You would never. Oh no. No, they're
Oh,
not.
jeez.
I don't have any cats. Oh no, I
Okay.
do.
All right, I guess Marcus can take the reins since her pictures at first. Just let me know when you want me to switch.
Okay.
And
I have to
okay.
remember. Yeah. I think I know what pictures you have on there. God, hold on. Let me pull those up. Sorry, guys. Let me pull the
Jesus.
pictures up so I can know what pictures I sent you.
You guys like
Guys
our
are
little
the
Halloween
worst.
costumes?
They're so cute.
All I did was add a pirate hat and a witch hat, so I couldn't figure out
It's
how
like
to edit it.
literally what we're gonna be for Halloween.
You're gonna be
A
Yeah,
pirate and a
I'm
witch.
literally gonna be a pumpkin.
a pumpkin in a
Yep,
photo
that's
frame.
literally what we're all gonna
Yes.
be.
I was gonna try to make the overlay look like we're all like on like a hanging pictures on a wall in like a castle or whatever,
Ooh,
and then I
uh-huh,
couldn't
that'd be
figure out
cute.
how to make it not look stupid. So
Yeah, it didn't work.
that's gonna be the attempt for next episode, next spooky episode.
Next spooky episode. Okay, I'm ready. I can't remember the pictures, but I kind of do. I can't find them for some reason.
They're
I
in
should have that
Discord.
ready.
I can't
Oh yeah,
remember the
yeah, yeah.
pictures, but I kinda do.
Well, like I know
Gotcha.
what pictures I sent, I think. Well, I kept going back and forth between pictures. Just listen, I just got distracted. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
All
we're good.
right. So we're good to go.
We're good to go. Are you sure?
Yes.
All
So
right.
we are talking about H. Holmes, which I already mentioned earlier, and he is known as America's first serial killer. Um, I tried to look around to see like who, if there were any other serial killers at that time. The only other one that I found was Jack the Ripper, which was
I was
like
gonna
in
cover.
London.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
cover him, and then I have this really weird thing where I feel weird doing research on like murderers and dead
So
people.
she left it to me.
I just feel weird. I don't mind listening to it when I do research and seeing the photos, even like the drawings from Jack the Ripper. I just feel like awkward. I don't know. I feel weird.
Yeah.
I feel like I shouldn't be doing it. So I switched topics like 7 times.
Yeah. Which I think this is good because then they get like a spiritual and a true crime type of thing. You know, they get two things in
Yeah, it
this
works.
episode. So anyway, so he was actually not born H. Holmes. His name was Herman Webster Mudgett.
If my name was
Um
Herman, I get it. Not justifying what he did, but I get it. You know, Herman.
Yikes.
he was born May 16th, 1861. So his birthday, he's a Taurus.
We don't. Nah, we don't want him.
Um so
He's not
yeah, and
ours.
Oh my.
he was born in Gilmanton, New Hampshire.
Oh
He
God.
was born to an alcoholic dad and a Bible thumping mom. So like his mom was always preaching to him, pulling scripture, you know.
Mhm.
They were in church. I didn't really put too much in there. I did find some stuff about that, but I didn't put too much about that in there. Because there was so much other things. But yeah, if you want to look that up, you can look that up about like
His mom
his
was
mom
like
and stuff.
crazy.
Yeah.
I
Um
I think it was, and that's why we drank that covered him,
uh
and it was wild.
yeah,
They did a
his mom.
decent amount on on his mom.
That's funny. That's funny because I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna leave this if they want to search this up because I thought everything else was just more interesting.
Yeah,
Um, and you can't. I know I put that in there that his dad was alcoholic and his mom, you know, was crazy with the church or whatever. Which I hate when people are like, oh, it's because the mom and the dad that he's like this. To me, those two things aren't. uh, I don't know. They're not enough for to turn somebody into a serial killer. You know what I mean?
I fully agree with that.
So, he was actually the middle child of 5. So, middle child though.
Major
That
middle
says it
child
right there.
syndrome.
We already knew he was gonna be a serial killer, middle child. Um
Hey, I'm a middle child.
You gotta watch out for Marcus in like
that's
5 years
that's what I
times.
got coming
What
for me.
the heck, bro?
So he was when he was younger, he was bullied by a lot of classmates. He was really, really smart. I found that there was one incident that the bullies made him touch a skeleton. First off, where the fuck did these kids get a skeleton?
I feel like
A
There's
real
that's
just
life, like a skeleton?
yeah, like a human
Was it
skeleton.
just in their like class?
So now they do have skeletons in class, but they're like plastic, right? You're saying that back then they had real
I
life
mean,
skeletons hanging in
I
class?
wouldn't be
may have had an
surprised
actual skeleton. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
because
Well,
they did have that in like college classes. I think back in the day.
real
Yeah.
skeletons? Real life
Yeah,
skeletons?
they would have real skeletons and real like dead
Yes.
bodies for science and medical classes. I might be pulling that out of my ass, but I think I read it somewhere.
Well, no, no, no. Yes, they do. But I didn't think that they hung them up in class. I knew they used like the cadavers because this actually kind of goes into stuff that he did when he was in college. They use the cadavers for whatever in classes, I guess. But um, I don't know. It just sounded weird to me when they were like, they made him touch a skeleton. I'm like, where the fuck do these kids get a skeleton? Everybody is psycho. Um,
Just have
so
one laying
yeah,
around and like their in their treehouse.
They just keep it, yeah, they just keep it locked up in the treehouse for people they don't like, and they make them touch it, and then those people turn into
Is
serial
touching a
killers.
skeleton really that bad, though?
I
Well,
mean,
that's fucking weird.
If
Like,
it's a
if you're a
skeleton
kid,
that's in
yeah.
your school, it's not really like,
if
I
you're
know.
being made to touch a skeleton, yes. Like, if
I
you don't
guess.
like okay, here we go.
I
Middle child serial killer coming up right
What?
here.
I
Bruh!
feel like
Come on,
you know
dude.
how kids are though when everything is like extremely heightened for them.
Yeah.
So like that closet in the corner that has like the hat and the coat in it looks like a demon in them like instantly.
Mhm.
I feel like it's just like an
Mhm.
imagination thing. So it's probably I mean there could have been like a big story around like if you touch Bob the skeleton you'll get possessed for 8 billion years or
Bob
Right.
the
something.
skeleton.
I don't
It
know.
it fucked him up is what they said. So, I don't know. Honestly, I'm like, is it what did they have this backwards? Because when you hear the future things that he did, I'm like, maybe it was him that actually made other people touch skeletons, but nope, that was the start of it. This is what turned him into a freaking weirdo. Um, but he was really, really smart. Like so smart. And you actually see that with a lot of the things that he does in the future. Like him being smart helped him be a serial killer and a scammer, basically, which is crazy. Um, so I did find that at when he was growing up, there is evidence that he would dissect and do surgery on animals, like dead and alive.
That's like isn't that
S-
like the first sign of a
Yeah,
serial
that's what.
killer
Yeah,
fucking with dead
yeah,
animals?
yeah. So,
That's fucked.
yeah, so he that there's definitely evidence of that. And then there is a mention, somebody said that there's a rumor that he was involved in the death of a friend, actually a really good friend, but you can't really find anything on that and that it's just I wonder if that came after everybody found out he was a serial killer and then like, "Oh, I bet he had, I bet he was involved with the death of this little boy or whatever." I don't know. I couldn't figure that out.
That seems like
But
something that would like a neighborhood tale type thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I don't know if it came before or after they found out he was a serial killer, I'm not sure. But I did wanna go ahead and mention it because, he's fucking crazy, so if he
Mhm.
did do it, we want everyone to know how crazy he was. Um, so again, this kid was so smart, he graduated high school at 16. After he graduated high school, this is when he changed his name to Henry Howard Holmes. I have no idea where he got the name. I don't know why this is the name he used. I'm not sure. I
Why
couldn't figure it out.
his real name was Humphrey, right?
Herman
Herman.
Webster Mudgett.
I don't think
Mudget.
Mudgett. He changed it to Henry Howard Holmes. So, not too long after he graduated high school, at 17, he married his first wife, Clara. Um,
The first one.
first wife. And I'm not going to say much more about that. You'll figure out later, but this dude's nuts. So, they had one son. The son was born in 1880. Just kind of some background for you. So when he went to college, he actually started college at a smaller school in Vermont. But he didn't like the curriculum. He said it just wasn't good enough for him, basically. So he left Vermont and went to the University of Michigan. Which that was his story, is that he left Vermont because of the curriculum wasn't good enough, so he wanted to go to University of Michigan. But what I did find out is that he actually was waiting to be accepted. So he wasn't accepted by University of Michigan at first.
so he just went
And
up there.
yeah, so then he went well, like no, he was waiting when he was in Vermont. He was waiting
Mm,
for his acceptance basically.
got it.
Yeah, so he went to University of Michigan and this is where, like, a lot of things kinda start with his scamming and, like, cadavers and stuff. While he was there, he would steal cadavers. So this goes with you guys are right, they did have a lot of cadavers and, I guess, skeletons at the universities, but I still don't think they would have that at elementary schools, but I'm not sure. But he would steal the cadavers. He would use these bodies. He would destroy the bodies by burning them, or like he would disfigure them, or basically make them look like they died of like a tragic accident. And then he would plant the bodies. But before planting the bodies, he would take out insurance policies on the people and then collect the money once they were found.
So
So,
this
like, he
he's
would
like smart,
take,
smart.
yes, like I'm telling you, like a genius. It's crazy. So, yeah. So, all through him going to college at University of Michigan, he was doing this. Um, and they actually figured out that he was doing this at the end. And I think they tried to like do something about it, but nothing ever happened of it because he actually passed his medical exams in 1884 and graduated. So he was a legit doctor. Um,
Well,
I'm sure
yeah.
back then it was easier to get away with stuff like this too,
Oh, for
because
sure.
they didn't have
For
the
sure.
forensic stuff we have today, and
Yeah,
it was easier
for
for
sure.
people to be like, oh, I didn't do it, and like, oh, no evidence.
Yeah. I always think about that. Like, there was probably so many more serial killers and
Mm-hmm.
people doing crazy things out there that we just have no idea just because they never got caught.
Well, with
Because,
Jack the Ripper, it was said that he killed at least 5 women, but people are expecting over 11, all within a span of, a really short time. But because
hmm
there wasn't like any real signs back then, um,
yeah.
we still don't know who he is,
Well,
which is
this is like the
crazy.
1880s, in
Yeah,
which that was 1880. This is 1884 that this guy's graduating college.
yeah.
So yeah. So both of them, it shocks me that they actually, well, it doesn't shock me because he did leave so much evidence behind that they figured out H. Holmes had this problem, but i- it's just crazy to me. The back then, how I could only imagine all the stuff people were doing. But yeah.
Yeah.
So after he graduated, he actually opened up like an office with another doctor. The doctor's name was Dr. Steele. So while they were working here, this is just one, this is another incident of him trying to scam. But while they were working there, there was a Civil War veteran that came into the office. And I guess he was like near death from like an old wound from the army or from the Civil War. And he asked them to perform an autopsy to eventually confirm that, like um to secure like the military pension for his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, sentence was so I don't know why it was so hard for me to get that sentence out. So basically, he came in. He said, "I'm gonna die soon. When I die, can you do an autopsy on me so it can confirm that I died because of the Civil War um, wound, and then give the information to whoever it needs to go to so my wife can get my pension." So Holmes was like, "Fuck yeah!" So the man died. This mother effer located the bullet. So he removed the bullet, removed his ribs, and then went to Steele and said he would not give him the bullet or the ribs unless Steele paid him. So this dude was holding this guy's body parts hostage, basically,
That is
saying, I'm not,
so.
yeah, go ahead.
I say that's so psychotic.
Like, is that not crazy? So actually on this situation, Steele was like, no, fuck you, dude. Because he had enough evidence otherwise for the wife. So he was like, I'm not doing it. Like just whatever, go to hell. But then the funniest part about it is after that whole incident happened, he actually lent Holmes money to take a train to Chicago. Like,
What?
who's letting somebody borrow money after trying to fuck them over like that? Like, who's doing that?
That is. Yeah. Why would that is so
bruh.
Like,
weird. Was it like a
that's
forced lending?
I couldn't find that. It just said that he told him he needed to go to Chicago and he'd be back or whatever, and he borrowed money, and I guess
Maybe the guy was
he
just
had
like, as long as this dude's out of here.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
he
that
was
is
like,
what
I
it
don't want to
was.
deal with him anymore.
Because he definitely never went back. And they actually went and talked to Steele. That's how they know this information. And I guess um Holmes had left like a bunch of stuff there, like basically anything to do with his life at that point. He left it at the office. I couldn't see like exactly what he left, but I guess there was like a couple boxes of stuff that he left. And when he moved, so this was 1885 that he decided he wanted to move to Chicago. He went to his wife because remember, he has a wife and a son. He told them he didn't want them to go. He was like,
What?
"Nope, you can stay here." And they never heard from him again.
Oh, so
That's
he just
messed up.
ditched them.
Yeah, so he just left them,
He straight up dipped.
and yeah, and was like, and actually, I guess the wife was like, we want to go with you or whatever, and he was like, "Nope, I don't want you to come. You can stay here." And he never
Damn.
came back to them at all. But
His
it's
dad
kind of
really said,
lucky.
I'm gonna go to the milk store.
I'm gonna go to the
But
mix
it's
store,
kind
the
of
Just
milk
never
store
saw him.
I
five
feel like
cities
it's kind of
over.
lucky for her though,
They, in a way, they
because
really did luck out. I wonder if after he got
yeah,
caught, her and her son looked back at it and they were like, "Holy shit!"
oh, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they were like, thank effing goodness
I wonder
those
what
people left.
the kid
Especially
thinks
back then,
about.
well, now I'm sure the kid's not alive anymore either, but think
Hmm.
about it. Like, I feel like too, back then, when you would like well, no, actually, they were still married. They didn't even get a divorce. So I wonder if she like stayed single until he died.
Huh.
I don't know. I couldn't find actually too much on the wives. I found a little bit, but not enough.
Yeah. I wonder if
How many wives were there?
Well, you'll find out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
was it hard
But
to
they're
get a divorce
total of
back then?
3. I don't know. I have no idea. I
Because
guess
in
it
like,
could be because I bet there wasn't as many lawyers and stuff, or they didn't even know like what to do.
yeah,
Didn't they also
that's
kind of
crazy.
think it was a sin or whatever?
Well, a lot of people still think that now,
I
Yeah, but
mean,
like
yeah,
back then it
duh,
was
but
heightened though.
yeah.
You know how
probably.
people were
So,
crazy back then.
yeah, they're crazy now too. So imagine. Oh God, I couldn't imagine. I would never want to live in those times. I can tell you that right now. Um, so yeah, so 1885, he said F you, Clara, and his son, and he moved to Chicago. And think about it, his son was 5 too. I didn't even think about that. His son was 5, so his son like knew
You're telling
him.
us to think about it, but you didn't think about it.
I know, I didn't think about that until just now. His son was 5 years old. What an asshole. Well, it's probably
I
good
think
because
that's I think that's like I think it's been known that he is indeed an a-hole.
well, yeah.
I feel like a part of me feels like back then I feel like it's almost common, or it might have been common in some places that the father figure, whoever it was, would leave pretty early on to like start a new family. You know, I feel like I've
You know
heard a
what?
Yeah.
lot of stories
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
because there's like so many different like tales where that happens. I guess in like paranormal and in history. So I feel like I
That's
don't know.
true. You're probably right.
When was this? Like what year was it?
Oh no, did her thing cut out? Oh no, I think they're. Let me ask them. So there's a internet connection issue. The internet cut out.
Hello?
Oh, it's back.
My bad,
Jesus
y'all. My bad.
Christ.
My bad.
I started to panic, so I'm like, I can't host
Yeah,
this by
I
myself.
asked a question and it was just silence and I was like,
I
all right,
asked
cool. And then
Yeah.
I
which I
went,
answered the question. You just didn't hear me. So
When was
so
it?
the
Okay,
Can you
what
year
was
that
the
repeat?
answer?
Yeah, when did this happen?
so when he moved to Chicago and he left his wife and son,
Yeah.
1885.
Okay.
That wasn't that long ago when you think about it.
It's over a
18,
century ago.
I know, but
1885 wasn't that long ago?
no, but when you think about it in like the grand scheme of things, like
It's
when like
I
it's
North
mean,
America
yeah.
was,
135 years ago.
that's still pretty recent compared to everything.
I mean, I guess it
Yes,
is pretty
compared to like
recent.
the beginning of Earth, yes, that
No,
is
I mean
true.
like compared to when like North America would be. Never mind. I don't
You're
appreciate
absolutely
this.
correct.
No,
I
I
don't
I
appreciate
get what
this.
you're
This
saying.
is all getting cut out of the podcast.
Compared to when the dinosaurs died, yes.
Okay,
It is
Marcus.
pretty recently.
No, I mean, I do get what you're saying, but it's still long enough ago that times were definitely way
Yeah.
different
Yeah,
then.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying it was like
Yeah.
last
Like
week. It
how
was still
like
far away ago, but like it's still like never
I
Yeah,
mind.
mean,
you're
yeah.
right.
It was
You're
far
right.
it was far enough ago, but listen, one thing we do have in common is that the continents were like split up, you know?
What?
Like it wasn't just one big massive land.
Okay, continue. Appreciate getting
Okay.
hassled.
So anyway, so
I
he
like this. I want to be on the podcast more
This is the
while y'all
last time your
are
ass is gonna
telling
be
the
on the
stories.
podcast.
I love making fun of y'all.
listen, my mouse just like scooted across my screen and it scared the shit out of me.
H.H. Holmes
Um,
telling Sandra, hey, yeah, 1885, not that long ago. I
yeah.
agree.
I don't
So
think H.H.
so
Holmes
this
has any room to judge.
no, not at all.
Well,
So
he
yeah,
doesn't think what he did was wrong.
the picture that's up there right now, that is H.H. Holmes. So
He's got a squirrel
he's
on his
actually
lip.
No, it's just a random person.
he's but what I was gonna say is
Just a
I
random person.
should have actually mentioned this earlier, but like look at him. He looks like a normal, like he's put together. I'm sure he was like handsome back then,
He looks like a
you know?
normal like doctor in the 1800s,
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
except for
Um
whatever's on his upper lip. It looks like it's about to fly off.
it's a big ass caterpillar.
Yeah.
Caterpillar. Is that how you say that?
Caterpillar?
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 How do you say
Caterpillar.
it?
Caterpillar.
Caterpillar?
Caterpillar. Okay.
Caterpillar.
Let's
Okay.
not get started on that.
Jesus Christ. Y'all
So
are
he
a mess.
so when he moved to Chicago, that's when he started going by Dr. Henry H. Holmes. And then eventually he just said, call me H. Holmes because that's what I do. I don't know why.
H.H. Holmes?
I still don't understand where he got the name. Sorry, I couldn't find anything on it. I guess he just made it up because he was a genius. So when he first moved there, he actually started working at a pharmacy. And of course, at this pharmacy, the owner passed away. Now, there's no evidence that he had anything to do with it, but
He probably had something to
destruction.
do with it.
So when the owner passed away, he actually left the drugstore to his wife, and Holmes bought the store. And you guys can't see me, but I'm
I
doing
thought you were about to say
parentheses.
that he married the wife.
No,
That's
he
what I was
bought the
expecting.
store. They were old. They were an older couple, but like you can't
Hey, I
see me
mean,
using quotation marks. But when he bought the store, the widow went missing. So did he
oh yeah,
buy the
she did.
store?
She got.
She gone.
She got
And his
caught.
story was she moved to California. So I don't know. Maybe she really did
Moved to
move to
California
California.
or moved into a ditch, more like
Yeah, she moved to. Yeah, she
6 feet
she not
under.
she not there
She
anymore.
moved 6 feet under.
She's no longer alive.
So everything is already crazy, right? Like these stories that we've already heard about this guy is crazy. Just wait. About to get
Oh, I'm waiting.
fucking crazier.
I'm waiting, ma.
S-
Give me the tea, all right?
Spill
So
the tea.
in between, like, while he was working at the pharmacy and before he bought land, and I'll get into that next, but he actually married another lady in 1887. Her name was Murda. Yeah, he's still married to Clara, so he has 2 wives now. He actually met
Yes.
her in Minneapolis, and
Minneapolis.
when he
Minnie.
moved to when he moved to Chicago, he actually wrote her letters and was like, "Come move to Chicago with me." And she thought she's like, "Oh, this doctor lives in Chicago. Let's go." So she moved there,
Let's go.
idiot.
I'm about to get rich.
So they actually had a daughter. So he actually had a son and a daughter at this point. Um, so and that was in the middle of like when he was at the pharmacy and all that. After he bought the pharmacy or took over the pharmacy, he actually bought some land across the street from the drugstore and um to build a hotel.
He
So
was
like he
rich
knew
then. Like,
A
rich,
he
rich.
hotel.
well, yeah, because he was scamming, doing all this scamming his whole life.
Yeah, but
Think
like,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah, but like, yeah,
No, I was just
true.
saying, like, no, because, like, back then the prices were all weird. It's like, he
Yeah.
Yeah.
must have been really good at scamming and doing what
Oh,
he did
yeah.
to be able
Well,
to,
he
like,
was a
pull that off.
genius.
Yeah,
Oh, who knows how much money he got for stealing and selling the cadavers?
that's true. I wonder
Like, I'm
who's
sure
Okay,
that
buying
was
these
what
actually
is
a
a
lot of
cadavers.
money.
cadaver? What is a
Pro
cadaver?
It's a dead body.
Yeah,
Then why not
No,
just say a dead body?
because a cadaver's
because
fancier and it's, like,
it
medically.
makes me sound smarter than I
You know
am,
what? Every
Marcus.
single time you say cadaver, I'm just gonna speak over and you say dead body.
Well, because dead body seems
Um,
like it's, like, fresh out of grave, dead body, and a cadaver is, like, one that's been, like, science,
No,
like, made
it
for medical
doesn't.
stuff, right?
yeah,
What?
exactly.
Are you killing people for medical stuff?
Well, no, because
He is?
back in the day, yeah, people would pay solid money to have like actual bodies and
Well, he
skeletons
would
on.
actually sell it to a lot of other universities and stuff. Like University of Michigan, you gotta think it was probably like a richer
Yeah,
college back then. So he was like probably selling them to other universities that couldn't get their hands on them. And he was probably making like, getting the
Okay, that's not what
most
I'm
amount that he
talking
could
about.
get.
I'm talking about the fact that Sandra just said cadaver makes it seem like it's for science and stuff. They're making
well,
it for science.
it's
Well, it
been like
is.
like not, I don't want to say process, but it's been
Okay,
like
but they're not specifically killing the people for science, right?
no.
No,
No,
Okay.
it's like the
no. These
body.
are
Somebody
Thank
people
who's
that
God.
died, they
just like,
donate their body to
yeah,
science, and then it becomes a cadaver where
exactly.
it's like processed differently.
Yes.
I'm just gonna call it a body.
Whatever. Anyway,
Cadaver's
um,
too fancy.
it's not fancy. It's just to like let you know that this isn't just like a fresh dead body that he just took out of the ground.
Google
Like
says a
these were
cadaver
actually
is a corpse or a dead human body that is used by medical students, physicians, and other scientists to study anatomy, identify disease sites, determine cause of death, and provide tissue repair.
Okay, cool. Dead
there
body.
you go.
Used for
Oh
science.
God, Marcus.
They're
Okay,
prepared
anyway.
differently. It's a dead body, but it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, a
Well,
lot
they
of
also
bodies are
give them a
prepared
name
differently.
too, so like when people were working on it, it's not just like dead body. Like when you're working on it or like learning about it in the school or wherever, like as whatever your profession is that you have to deal with these cadavers,
yeah,
it's like a better. They probably made a different word for it because who wants to be like, oh, let me cut into this dead body for research? It just sounds terrible.
that makes sense. I'm on the
So
side of science.
yeah, me too. Okay,
I'm on
so
the
moving
side
on.
of I don't care cadaver's too long.
But it's not. Dead body is the
Dead body.
same is the same as
Cadaver.
cadaver.
No,
It's
no,
the
no, no. No, listen,
oh,
listen, 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 listen. Cadaver. Dead body. I
Dead
don't
body has more characters than
listen.
cadaver does, dude.
it has
Dead
more. What is
body.
it? Hold on, help me
Cadaver.
out, Magma.
Dead
What is
body
it
is
when
just
it's like
easier to say.
cadaver, dead body,
Syllables.
syllables? It's the same amount of syllables. Is that what it
Okay,
is?
yeah, but listen.
Okay, I'm not. We're moving on.
One is just
So,
harder to say than the other.
God.
All right.
We spent 10 minutes talking about. Okay, that's fine.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we just educated people on what a cadaver is, what the difference is, because there's other
I'm
people out there
sorry.
like Marcus.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
other dumb people out there. I agree.
Oof.
okay,
Continuing.
can I move on, Marcus? Are we
Sure,
good?
if you want to.
Let me
Okay.
know about the photo changes too, by the way.
It's dead bodies. See,
So
Lou
yeah,
agrees.
you're almost there. You're almost there. So when he bought the land, he wanted to build a hotel. So he actually hired contractors to build a 3-story hotel that he had designed. So like he designed the whole thing. Um they started construction in 1889. He actually hired like several contractors to do different parts of the hotel because he didn't want one contractor to know too much about what was in the hotel.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah. So like if he felt a contractor was seeing too much of the hotel, he would actually fire them and hire somebody new.
You're seeing
So,
too much of the hotel that you are. Okay.
exactly. So think about that. Like that right there has to be like a whoa,
That's
what
a
is this guy doing?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big red flag.
So, yeah. So the construction for the hotel was actually finished in 1891. Um after they finished construction, and I'll get into like some of the rooms and stuff here in a bit, but after he finished the construction for the hotel, he put ads in newspapers stating that the castle, and the reason I got the name of the castle is because it was like this huge building in this neighborhood, and that's what everybody started calling it, was a castle. So he went with it. And so he's in the newspaper ad, it stated that the castle was a place for lodging, offering jobs for young women, and said he was a wealthy man looking for a wife. So he has a
Ooh,
wife living in Chicago with him, and he doesn't care. He needs another one.
I
But
am a wealthy man with a wife and another
looking,
wife and two
no, but
children looking for another wife.
yeah. So this, like, literally, this man gives no fucks. He is just gonna do what he wants. He does not care. So he made everybody that worked for him get life insurance policies, naming him beneficiary.
Okay,
So
well,
I like how nobody
listen.
saw that and was like, "Hey, this is kind of cool."
Immediately leave that job. All right.
yeah.
Do not stay
So
there.
so literally anybody that worked for him, any wives that he had, I will say I do actually think he had more than 3 wives. There's just only 3 wives on, like, record
Mm,
that he has. But the way that they worded this, because when I looked it up, it said that his any wives he had or fiance had to get the insurance policy with him as beneficiary too. So you got to think about it. A 3-story hotel. How many people are living there that had an insurance policy naming him beneficiary? So how many of these people really died that worked for him? We'll never know. Like, we literally will never have any idea how many people actually died because of him.
that's crazy.
Um, but then, not only that, not only his employees, not only his fiancés and his wives, but guests of the hotel had to get life insurance policies naming him beneficiary. And they did it.
W- w-
Like, what?
I just, I want to like know the thought process and be like, "Oh, hey, honey, let's check into that really nice hotel that just opened up downtown, but also we have to take out life insurances for the doctor."
Yeah. Like,
That is
was just
so.
everybody high at the time?
Everyone was just like drunk as fuck at the time.
Yeah, they were drunk and high out of their minds. They were drunk on that moonshine.
Moonshine.
Telling
Okay,
you.
I'm,
Like, when,
I'm back.
oh, we didn't know you left.
I figured cats knocked something down because they're brats.
Oh. So So yeah, like I said, we don't really know how many wives he ended up with. Um, I do know that there was a story about a fiance that he had while he was in Chicago, and like the fiance was actually like an old colleague's wife already, and she went missing. So she did. She
She
did
did.
in the hotel.
It is weird to think about how many people he did kill who probably haven't been found.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. There's hundreds. I can guarantee it.
I wouldn't
Just
be surprised, yeah.
yeah. And especially when you're about to hear like what was in this hotel, there's definitely so many because literally that's why he built this hotel. That's why he has like different contractors doing it and stuff. Like he built this hotel to kill people, period. Um so in 1893, Chicago hosted the World's Fair. Do you guys know what the World's Fair is? Have you ever heard of it?
Yes.
No.
So it's actually a celebration of Christopher Columbus. Fuck him, but it was a
The
celebration of Christopher
best
Disgusting.
Columbus.
guy to have ever existed. Totally didn't do
No.
anything wrong ever, and
No.
that is not sarcasm.
Yeah. So so it actually lasted for months. I think it was like
Really?
5 months. Yeah, it
Months?
lasted.
I always thought it was like 2 or 3 weeks at most.
No, it's
Damn.
like months. I think it was from like May to October actually.
Damn.
Yeah. And so actually at the Chicago World's Fair, I did find out that they had the first Ferris wheel. Like
Oh, I knew
nobody had it.
that.
Yeah, they had the very first Ferris wheel. People traveled from all over the world to come to this fair. Because it was like this huge celebration. They had like all these different shops and different, new like attractions and stuff, this Ferris wheel.
Hmm.
So yeah. So think about it. All these people coming over, who knows how many people came that other like their family didn't even know where they were or whatever, because that's just how it was back then.
Yeah.
Like you don't have cell phones, you don't, so this was open season for Holmes, y'all. He
Open
said, "Oh
season.
yeah."
Yikes.
So, like, according to neighbors, during the time of the World Fair, a lot of people entered the hotel, but not as many people left the hotel. So,
Go
yeah.
in, never come out.
Well, because think about, like I said, like if people coming from, a girl could have been like, "Ooh, you know what? I'm going to the World's Fair," and left their home. How would anybody really be able to say back then, "Oh, this person is missing. They went to the United States." Like, you just don't
Yeah,
have the
especially when
communication
there's people
things.
like just leaving for Chicago and never.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, like, they could have thought too, "Oh, they just left and they just decided to stay there," like.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you can go ahead and go to the next picture, and
Is
the
this like
next
a
pitch.
presentation now?
Yes.
To the next slide, please.
So, this is an
You're an
actual
asshole.
picture, like, you can see this was, like, in a newspaper. Um, but this is a picture of the outside of the hotel. I tried to find like,
That place looks
something
terrifying.
to show the inside, like even plans, but the plans that I found, they just weren't very good of a picture, so I just left it at this. And then I'm just gonna kind of explain to you what was going on inside. But
I would never
um
step foot into that hotel.
It,
Looks
why?
terrifying.
I mean, well, I feel
Back
like
then
I'd
it
be
looked
down for
normal.
it until I found out that the hotel owner would require you to sign life insurance.
No, hotels
Right.
creep me out anyway. So this one looks
Yeah.
particularly
It looks like there's like a
creepy.
lot of like false walls in it. Like it looks
Yeah.
shaped weird.
And you can even tell how big it is too.
It wasn't
It
it
was
like
like,
massive.
yeah, it was pretty long. Like, I guess I should have just went ahead and put the planes on here. They just were really weird. It didn't really actually. I don't know, it didn't do it
I'm
justice,
fine not
so
seeing the plans.
but I'm gonna explain to you what we had going on in here. Like, that's what I'm gonna do next. So,
Oh, good.
um,
Thank you.
yeah, I knew you would enjoy that. So the first floor of the castle actually had stores. I don't know who ran the stores. I'm assuming Holmes ran the stores. Who knows what he was selling in these stores, making money on? I don't know. But there were several stores on the bottom of it. The two upper levels contained Holmes' office and over 100 rooms that were used as living quarters. So some of these, so like if somebody stayed there, that's where they would stay in one of these 100 rooms. So that's, you got to think that's actually pretty, that is massive for that time, right? 100 rooms, that's big.
Hmm.
Um,
100 rooms. Hmm.
so
Do you know how
some of
much
the
100
you
rooms
rent?
rooms,
How much it costs to rent out each room?
nope,
Huh?
I couldn't find that at all. I have no
Oof.
idea. Yeah, I'm sure it was expensive as hell for that
Hmm.
time because he's a scammer. Um, so some of the rooms were soundproof. They found when they searched this hotel, they found that there were soundproof rooms. There were
Casual.
some rooms that that had gas lines. So like the rooms had gas lines going into them. So basically that he could asphyxiate his guest like whenever he wanted to. So like if
Excuse
That is
me?
so
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
How do you come up
hmm
with that?
He is a fucking crazy genius. Period. That's
Yeah,
all I have for you.
that's
Like he was
crazy.
nuts and he was a genius. So this dude was crazy.
Hmm.
So also throughout the building, there were trap doors, there were peepholes all over the place, there were stairways that led to nowhere, there were chutes that led into the basement, and like not just one chute, like there was a bunch of chutes that led to the basement, and there was no like laundry or anything like that down there. Because the basement was actually Holmes' lab. So there
Okay.
was a dissecting table, there was a stretching rack, and there was a crematory.
This dude was
So
ballsy as hell to have this all in one
Uh,
spot.
wait,
so
a
where you burn
stretching
bodies.
rack?
Yeah.
Yes, a stretching rack. Um,
That's the thing where like your wrists and ankles are like fastened to each corner and he like
uh-huh.
pulls you. Yeah.
And they stretch it out. Yep.
Mm.
Um, so he basically would send the bodies down the chute.
He probably u- he probably used that on real people.
Yeah.
Oh, on live people, you mean?
I wouldn't
Yeah,
put it
like
past
real
him.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for
people.
sure. I believe that for sure.
A security guard or
So
like a get or like a hotel staff looks at him weird.
Sorry, I just realized I said real. I meant alive, but my brain isn't
I
functioning.
knew
Real
what you
people,
meant.
not
Listen,
cadavers.
have you heard us, Marcus? Anyway,
We're
Yeah, I've
moving.
been
so
listening for like
professional.
an hour.
So anyway, he for sure was like sending the bodies down the chute. He would dissect them, he'd just strip them of their flesh and sell them as human skeleton models to medical schools. So that kind of answers the question earlier of where he was selling these bodies is like I said, he would sell them to medical schools, that needed them or whatever.
Hmm.
But he had pits of acid
Where do
down
you
there.
get acid, let alone in the
I
1800s?
I
Just
have no idea, but he had pits of acid. So who knows?
He's got an
And then
acid gut.
he would cremate them. So he'd either cremate these bodies or put them in the pits of acid. So think about it. Anybody that he's cremating or putting in acid, there's not going to be anything left of those people.
Yeah, that is.
So who knows
How
how
do
many
you
people he
come
really
up
killed?
with that?
I don't know. And he had hidden like ways to get into rooms and stuff. Like he'd go into the rooms while people were in there through like a hidden door or whatever, hidden passageway, and kill them or do whatever. The whole gas thing, like it's just when I was reading this, I was like, holy shit. But
That is
what's
crazy.
crazy, I think actually you remember Hotel on American Horror Story.
Yeah.
that's based off of this hotel.
Yeah.
It's part of it is like some of the rooms how they had certain things like that.
Mhm.
And like there was a basement that the stuff went into or whatever. That's based off, that's where they got this the idea
The
for that
rich.
show. Yeah, was from H Holmes Hotel. The Murder Castle, which is when you look it up, it's under Murder Castle. That's what they called it after they
What
figured
was
out
like
what was going on there.
the real name of the hotel? Do you know?
No.
No.
Oh, the castle. It was
That's
just he named
He
the
named it
castle
the
because
castle.
that's what the neighborhood, yeah, because that's what the neighborhood
Oh,
called it. So he named it the castle.
so it must have
so
been
he's
like
unoriginal and a murder. Oh my god.
so like judging by that, that must have been like a major thing then. It must have been like a massive building, like a new thing in that area
Yes.
for everyone to be like, "Oh shit, this is gigantic."
Yeah. Yes. And he kind of did it at the perfect time with the World's Fair coming because people are
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, let's do it." Yeah. So, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and then look at him. He's like I said, he probably is not a bad looking guy for that time. Well, especially if he's getting all these wives. Now, I didn't put pictures of the wives up, but the wives weren't very, I don't know, they looked homely to me, but he might have done that on purpose. I don't know.
He looked what?
Eh?
Uh, they looked like homely. Like they just looked like,
Homely?
yeah, like they just looked like
What does homely mean?
very original. Like
Oh,
I don't know.
like stereotypical like American wife.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got you. I got you. I've never heard anyone use the word homely. It threw me off,
Oh,
especially with his name
sorry.
being Holmes. I'm like,
Oh.
that would throw me off. I was trying to remember. I was trying to figure out how that related. I'm like,
I was very
So you
confused.
sorry. I forget that I have weird words that nobody else uses.
I
So
have
you can go
weird
ahead and go
words.
to you can go ahead and go to the next picture. The next picture is gonna actually be his accomplice, Benjamin Pitzel. I couldn't
Ooh.
figure out though if he actually helped with the murders or if he just was part of the scamming. I don't think that he was part of the murders just because then you'll find out like kind of what happens in the future. I really think he was only part of like the scamming part and maybe he was like the in between person that would, do whatever take something to somebody or get the money or whatever.
Like a fucked
Like
up
I said,
assistant.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, this was his accomplice. He actually was with him for a while.
Look at that hairline. Sorry.
I
That hairline
know.
has four different shapes in it. There's a V, there's an M.
I hate it.
It goes how does he have a forehead and a six head? Okay. Sorry.
He does.
It's terrible.
Sorry. Listen, he's a dick.
Oh
By
my.
law of the universe, if someone's an asshole, you're allowed to make fun of them.
You're right, you're right. So, they
Tell us about
actually
six
during
head.
the they actually during the World's Fair were still going out and doing like committing insurance fraud like around the country.
The grind never stops, honestly.
No, never stopped. These two had to be
Especially
rich
when you're
as fuck.
grinding people's bodies. It never stops.
Oh,
I'm
dead.
happy you found that funny because apparently Sandra did not.
Muted myself because I was
I-
drinking my water bait.
so yeah, so they were still, doing all this insurance fraud or whatever. He was coming back, killing bodies, gassing them up, cremating them, dipping them in acid.
I wonder if you had a schedule like on Monday, kill couple in room 204, Tuesday commit insurance fraud,
Like a
Wednesday
streaming
dip body
schedule.
in
Today,
acid.
guys, we're gonna dip a body into
Monday,
Hey
acid.
murder
guys,
by
in today's
night.
episode we are going to kill this lovely couple in room 104. Why they just looked at me wrong, honestly.
They didn't expect it, but they definitely are getting it. All
And
right.
they also put life insurance of a couple million, so why not?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Fucked
We're
up.
laughing, but it is really actually crazy. Like, don't. To
Yeah, I'm
anybody that's
sorry. I
listening,
probably shouldn't be making jokes
We
about
make
this.
listen. To
we
anybody that's listening, don't think that we are like we don't care about these people at all, but we just we're weird.
We make
So
jokes to
we
to process situations like this.
yeah.
And no, we're not
Um
making fun of the people who passed away. We're making fun of the Holmes dude and
exactly,
six headgear.
exactly,
That's
exactly.
dumb.
So after all this killing and scamming, and after the World Fair left Chicago, well, the economy in Chicago was fucked. So, like, it
I
was
bet
bad.
after like 5 months of straight like tourist money
Yeah,
and then out of nowhere it
y-
just drops out. I can
exactly.
imagine.
Um, so Holmes just abandons the murder castle. He's just like, fuck this place, and abandons the murder castle and says, come on, Pitzel, let's go do more insurance scams and
Let's go
scamming
pretzel sticks.
across the country. And he also, in this time, as he leaves in 1894, he marries another woman,
Ah, surprise,
Georgiana.
surprise.
Yeah.
Georgiana.
He must
Okay.
have
Um,
been like either he was like very obviously wealthy or very attractive back then. Or I
that's
guess
what I'm saying.
both.
I think he was both. Yeah. And I honestly don't think he was as wealthy as we would think he would be with all the scamming, because
I mean back
it's
then the currency was different.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I guess I could
But
see him being like he's not like ugly besides like the mustache.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's actually another picture that I found, but I didn't want to put it on there because he actually was very handsome in the picture. And I was like, fuck this dude. I'm gonna pick
Fuck
this
this dude.
picture. um, so
Oh,
this new what?
he hmm, let me just upload this photo real quick. Uh
Oh, it's like the one where he looks handsome? Or does he look
yeah.
worse? See, I told you. It's
Uh
crazy.
hold on real quick. I just want everyone to see this.
I thought so. I thought your house was getting broken into or something.
Look at this handsome devil. Look at this
Oh
handsome
God! See,
devil.
look when he took the hat off.
Look at
Oh
this handsome
shit!
devil. Look at it.
But
How that is such like
and
what?
again, it's that's like it is these days though too. Look at the difference between having a hat and not having a hat. Men do that these days. They put a hat on and then
That's
they take
true.
their fucking hat on, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
For me though, I wasn't expecting that because that hat made it look like he had like a lot of
Yeah.
hair, and then that came up. Okay, sorry. Back to whatever this dude's name is.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's me.
Um.
That's Lou.
I
So.
need you to find a picture of a mole rat and I need you to compare those two. You think this is a joke? Look up a picture of a mole rat right now and compare them.
Oh my god.
Compare it to the other Holmes picture.
Yes. Like his side profile, mole rat. Like, what do you mean? That's not a mole rat? No, that's a mole rat.
Hold on.
Oh jeez. Let's
Listen,
let's see what this looks like. Lou said, "Yeah, that's me." You bastard.
I have. Y'all could see my desktop right now.
I could only imagine.
Oh, there it is. Nope. Jesus.
Can't wait. Oh
Right?
my god.
Okay, now bring up the picture of Holmes. Okay, now tell me that that is not the same thing.
That's why he has that mustache.
Excuse me? Like, listen. That is that is the same
Y'all keep making fun of
thing.
him. You're gonna wake up.
They
He's gonna be standing at that edge of your bed.
they
Oh
are
god.
cousins, all right?
That's his
You
son.
cannot convince me otherwise.
Cousins. He
Okay,
is the
take that.
original mole rat.
Oh my god. Anyway, back to the story.
Professional.
Oh my gosh. So the Georgiana, there really wasn't a lot of information on her. I told you there wasn't that much on the wives, but she was like the one that had the least amount of information.
Georgiana.
Literally, Georgiana, they just met in Chicago and then she flees with him. I guess right after he left Chicago, he went to Texas. There's nothing else about her. So he probably killed her, I'm sure, for insurance money when they got to Texas.
I
Because
wouldn't be
why
surprised.
are a dime a dozen to this guy?
That is
You know,
crazy though. He's gone. Like I know he was like caught in the end and whatever, but like he's gotten away with a lot. Like I know
yeah,
it's a different time, but you couldn't do that today. It's
no,
crazy.
no way. Yeah, yeah. So, after they left Chicago, they moved to Texas at first, and he would steal horses. Like he stole horses
Casual.
and would send them to St. Louis to sell. Like, and I guess he made like bank off of this. Bank.
Damn.
But guess what, guys? He gets arrested for this.
Pog.
Somehow, this
Let's
smart
go.
ass
Out
guy,
of everything, he gets arrested for
yes,
selling a stolen horse.
horses, yes.
It's because he was in
So,
Texas. You don't fuck with Texas.
you don't fuck with their horses,
If he
bro.
was in like Arizona or
Um,
something, he would have gone off scot free. But Texas, ain't nothing come between there and their horses.
oh
Yeah,
my god,
listen,
I just offended
like,
all of
the
Texas. I'm
accent.
sorry.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry, Texas.
Oh Lord. So he doesn't stop while he's locked up, y'all. While he's locked up, this mother effer plans an insurance scam with the cellmate.
How does he get away? Okay.
So, but guess what? This one did not work.
No
So
shit.
yeah, he actually got bailed out from being locked up, and I'm sure Pitzel did it. I'm sure he, took scammed somebody, probably killed Georgiana. They got some money for it and bailed Holmes out. I don't know. Um, but he didn't get away with it. So what the plan was is he was gonna fake his death when he left and to get $10,000, and then he was going to give the other guy 500 of it. So here's another thing. You're
500.
yes, you're scamming for $10,000 and you're only giving this guy $500.
This dude is cheap.
$500 in 1890 is equivalent to the purchasing power about $14,301.10 in 2020.
Okay, but
Which
listen,
So
I
that's
believe
not the
that.
point. The
back
Yeah,
then,
point
that is
is
like life changing money. But Holmes was getting two hundred
he
eighty
yeah,
six thousand dollars.
yeah,
So that's insane.
exactly. Exactly.
But even then,
So
$500 is life changing money. Then
yeah, and I do agree with that, but come on. Which
that's
maybe
true.
the other guy didn't know. The other guy probably didn't even realize that he was gonna get 10,000. I don't know. I don't know that.
Maybe
Wasn't there.
maybe it was like 500, 500 or something.
Yeah, maybe. Um, so when he tried to do this, the insurance company was like, "Nope, the shit is sus."
Oh, now they're
It,
like, this is sus, not the 50,
yeah,
100 life insurance is
red
taken out on him.
red is sus, and we need to get him out of here now. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, so he didn't get to do that. He didn't send that guy any money, so that didn't work, whatever, blah blah blah. But after this happened, he decided to come up with a plan for him and Pitzel. I don't know if I ever said his first name, Benjamin. Benjamin Pitzel was his name.
What a
And
name.
they were gonna fake. They were like, he was like, Benjamin, let's fake your death and let's get that money. But he must have been tired of Pitzel because he actually killed him.
Poor
oh,
He
Pitzel.
yep. He knocked him out and he caught him on fire and
Oh,
collected the
shit.
money. Yeah.
okay. Listen, that's a bit extra,
Yep.
man. You told
Also,
this man that you were just gonna fake his death and then give him some of the money, and instead you took his life and gave him
Mhm.
fire.
Also,
That's
setting
right.
him on fire
and I
seems
don't
to
know.
be very different from his usual MO. Like before, he would do like the acid and like the
Because he didn't
cremation
have
and
acid
gas.
when he's traveling the country. So now he doesn't have like
That's
vats of
crazy.
acid and a crematory. So that's why he caught him on fire. He basically was trying to do his own type of crematory, but you can't do that. That's not hot enough. It's different, totally
Talking from
different. So
experience,
don't
Mama.
no, I'm just saying I've listened to
Uh huh.
enough
Oh God.
crime shows and murder mysteries. Like just don't
Yeah.
try it, okay? It's not gonna work.
Listen, if y'all gonna kill someone, fire ain't the way to go. That is what we're learning from today's episode with Mama.
Yeah, you're not gonna get rid of the body.
Nope, you feed them to pigs. Pigs will eat every single bit of them. Anyway, moving on. So
Excuse me?
Pigs, yeah. Fun fact: pigs will eat everything.
pigs eat
I
everything.
knew that, but
Also, you guys want to know a quick fun
don't go
fact about
telling people
pigs?
how.
Did you
What'd you
guys
say,
know
Sandra?
that pigs will often decorate their homes with flowers so they don't? So if a pig is in like a field, they won't eat the pretty flowers because then they'll pick it and decorate it and like literally like put it in against their walls and stuff in their pens. Fun fact.
What?
Yeah, pigs love decorating. There's this TikTok account where she's just like, we have several different pigs, and they all would go out to the field, pick bunches of flowers, put them to the side, graze, and then they'll all carry the flowers back in and decorate.
Oh, that's
Fun
so
fact.
cute.
Has absolutely nothing to do with
Oh,
this episode, but
no, but it's so cute. Um, so I didn't mention this earlier. I actually kind of forgot, but Pitzel actually had three children with him, and
wait,
he
oh my god, I thought you said Benjamin had kids with Holmes, and it really just threw me off for a second there.
oh no, he
They
had while
adopted
they were
children together.
while they were
That's what I
traveling
thought.
around at one point, Holmes had went to the mother of the three children, so Pitzel's wife, and was like, I'm going to take the kids to a nice school. So let them come with us, basically. So he kills Pitzel. So he has the three kids. And then there's like a nanny. There's some sort of like nanny type of woman that's with them as well. So after he kills Pitzel, he actually takes the children and the nanny and he goes to Irvington, Indiana. So you can go ahead and go to the next slide.
Irvington, Indiana.
Yeah. So, fun fact, y'all,
Hurry up.
I live like 15 minutes from here,
Let's
from
not
this house.
let's not pinpoint your exact location.
Well, that's all right. If somebody, it's all right. Nobody's coming to my house. It's fine.
Uh,
15
so-
minutes in uh
And you don't
yeah.
know which way, which direction 15 minutes I live from this place. I didn't say that, you know. Um, but yeah, so this house is actually still there. And the next picture I have is actually a picture of the house now, but we'll
You
go
want
to
me
that in a minute.
okay.
Um, so he, has the kids and the nanny. He goes and stays in this place in Irvington, Indiana. Um, uh, when you actually look up this house, well, I guess you can go ahead and go to the house. So this is a drawing of what the house looked like when they lived there. And if you go to the next clip, this is the actual house now. And
Oh, that's the
when
house
I
now that
was
he lives in?
no, not that he lives in, but this was the house. This is the same house that's there.
Oh.
That was where he lived. So the first picture is a drawing of the house when he was there, like so in the 1890s. This picture now is like the house recent, like
Oh.
within the last couple of years, like it's still there. It's remodeled, but you can tell that it's the same
Yeah,
house.
I see it.
Yeah,
Ew,
isn't that
imagine
crazy?
living in the same house that the country's first serial killer lived in.
So when I googled the
That shit's
address for
haunted.
this house, when I googled the address for this house, there were some websites that it popped up and was like, "Don't be weird and creepy. Leave the house alone." Like basically saying, because I'm sure they have so many people
Oh
that come to this
yeah.
house. There's actually like a tour that they
Mhm.
do around the city regarding H.H. Holmes. So like other things that may have happened. So I'm sure they walk by the house, which is probably annoying too to these people. But
Yeah.
then, then again, maybe it's like cool, but it's like a cool little, attraction. If you're into stuff like this, it would be kind of cool, I guess, to live there.
I
I
forgot
don't
what
know.
house. I forgot what serial killer it was, but there's one in Pennsylvania where the people who live there now, they're okay with you like driving up to the house, like taking photos of it outside, and they'll like let you
Uh-huh.
come in and like tour the house and stuff. But like as long as you like are like super respectful about it. So I guess a lot of people do that. I wouldn't personally go to a house like that, roll up to somebody's house and
No.
be like, "Hey, I guess somebody lived here a couple hundred years ago that killed people. Can I just
Hmm.
see your house?" I feel like that's weird. But I guess
Yeah.
a lot of people do like doing that. Which, like, to each their own.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool. I wouldn't want to live there. Like it'd be cool to buy a house that like something like this happened in and do some sort of like, tour type of thing that you could do, but I wouldn't want to actually live in that
I
house.
wonder
Does
if the
that make
people who
sense?
bought the house knew what it was about.
They had to. I'm telling you, when you pull up the address, of course I'm not sharing the address here, you can find it. That's another thing. You can find the address.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, but
Does
it,
Indiana
it
have a thing where within the last certain amount of years they have to tell you if there's any like important events that happened there, like a killing or like a
no,
criminal lived there or anything?
no.
No.
If they're asked, so like let's say you're a real estate
Oh, so you
agent,
have to ask.
yes, and a
Oh,
person says to you, has anything happened here? Was there any, did anybody die here? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then they have to tell. But they don't have to
got
just
it.
disclose that information.
I know some cities here in Pennsylvania. It I guess it varies depending on the city, where you have to
Hmm.
disclose it right up front, or you don't have to unless you're asked.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the house is cute. It's cute
It's a
now. I
super
mean,
cute house.
yeah,
I
you can
wouldn't.
tell they definitely remodeled. I think it's funny that they remodeled, but they still kind of they kept the structure of it
Hmm.
because like you can look at this house and you can look at that picture from the first house and you can tell this is the same house.
Oh yeah,
There's
for
no
sure.
denying it. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, you could see the front is pretty much the same. They just added a porch
yeah.
and redid the
Uh-huh.
shingles.
Yep.
I wonder what the inside. I know I just said I don't want. I don't like. I think it's weird like seeing the inside of the house, but I wonder like how much they changed the inside. If it's like completely modernized or if they kept like a lot of the same stuff. Like if they
I'm
did like
sure it
a
is.
Lizzie
You know
Borden
what?
house where they kept
I
everything
didn't
the
even
same.
when I was looking it up, I didn't even think about that, like going in and um looking at looking at the floor plan or anything. I didn't even think about that because we don't know what it was back in the day.
Yeah, it looks like it might have just been like a two-story. I'd say even a one-story with like an attic.
Hmm.
And then this
Yeah.
it looks like there might have been like an addition or something added on. It's still really cool to see. I actually kind of like that they kept the front end of the house at least.
Yeah. There is actually people that did investigation here at that house.
And paranormal
I don't remember.
investigations.
Yeah, but I don't remember what the name of the people were.
I'm sure if you
Um,
Google it, we can definitely find it.
oh, for sure. Yeah. Which I didn't even think about that. So sorry guys, you're not getting that information right now.
No, how dare you
But
ask? You're not getting that information. Leave the paranormal shit to me, first off. How dare you?
yeah. But they did, yeah. There was a team. I think it was like a girl and two guys that they did an investigation at this house. They actually might be from Indiana. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
was it?
I'd have
Fuck. I feel like I've seen an investigation like now, when you said a girl and two guys. I feel like like that sounds familiar.
yeah, let
Let
me
me
see if I
actually
can find it real quick. Or yeah. Let's see.
see real quick.
Just realized I've been silent for a while.
I was about to text you and ask if you're good. Oh, Zack and or Ghost Adventures investigated.
Zach Bagins.
They
Zack
did?
Bagel Bites. Yeah. Zack's been
Bagel Bites.
everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's been on the Travel Channel, so I wouldn't be surprised if like Ghost Hunters were there or something else, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure they've had many people that have went there. I really think that the two guys and the girl, I think that they were from India. I think that's probably why I heard of it. Maybe
Hmm.
I don't
Like a
remember because I
local.
didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know Zach Bagins had did it.
I feel like
Um,
it's a good shot in the dark
Bagins.
that Zach Bagans has been there because he has
yeah,
been
It is not
everywhere.
Baggins. It is Bagins.
He's
Bagins.
Baggins.
Oh
He's
my god.
Bagel
weird.
Bites.
But the hotel they can't because the hotel is actually not there anymore.
Oh, they
Somebody
tore
caught
it
it on
down.
fire.
Oh,
Somebody, yeah, somebody not too long after they figured out that he did it, somebody caught it on fire. Sack Bilbo Baggins.
I love that.
Hold on one guys. Sorry. I gotta beat myself and clear my throat. I'm so sorry.
So unprofessional.
So tired. Sitting here listening to all of them can fall asleep.
Listen, it's
I
exciting.
What are you
am.
trying to
That's
say that
what
we're
I just
boring?
said.
You're saying that
Are
we're
we not
No,
boring?
no,
like are we not entertaining?
Are
that's
you
not what
not
I'm saying.
entertained?
God, what a jerk. Anyway,
Listen, I don't like
so
learning.
the
So
only the only person that we know for sure died here was actually the son of Pitzel. So we had a son and two daughters. The son died at this house. Um, and I got a little bit of more of a story about that later, so I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. But after they left here, so after they left Indiana, they went to Toronto. Why? I don't know.
Toronto.
How like was it like did you have to have passports and stuff back then,
yeah,
or could you just?
you needed
That's
papers
so
of at least you have to. Yeah, I think you have to get approval.
you
Um.
know they were fake. You know all of the
Oh,
documentation had to have been fake.
for
Like
sure.
this weird man with two children, two girls,
And at that point,
crazy.
it was just Holmes and the kids, right?
Yeah, so at that point it was just him and the two children. So the guy that he was locked up with, remember that guy where he tried to do the plan that he was going to give $500 to when he
Mm-hmm.
was going to make 10,000? So he was pissed that he didn't receive the money from the scam.
Oh, he didn't receive money from a scammer. Wow. Who would have seen
So
that
he was
coming?
mad. So in 1894, he told the police about the scam. So
Oh, you a rat.
um, the guy after during all this, Holmes is in Toronto. He kills the two children, the two girls in
Oh,
Toronto and in the house he's staying at, and he decides to go to Boston. I don't know why. So like this guy has been all over the country.
he's probably trying to like cover his tracks or something. He probably
Yeah,
went into Toronto with a different name, then left with a different name.
yeah. So somehow the police found him in Boston. So after
Oh
the guy
shit!
came and told him about the scam, the police catch him in Boston.
Damn.
And they catch him, and the only reason they're holding him is because the warrant from Texas, from him selling the horses. That's why they're holding him. So they don't realize yet that he killed people and stuff. But I guess they found out that he like had extra people with him. So they decided to go, they like let the people in Chicago and Indy and Toronto know, and I'm sure other places, but those are the three main places that like this guy was doing all the scamming, whatever. So first, the police in Toronto, they go searching at the house he was staying at, and they find the girls' bodies. They
Oh,
find in the cellar. Yeah. So they had to have caught him. Like he had to have just moved to Boston, and they had to caught him pretty quick because the bodies were still there. Um. So yeah. So they found the bodies in a cellar in Toronto. Then Indy had heard about it, and they actually couldn't figure out where he was staying. they weren't sure like where he was staying. They were looking around at different places and asking like, people that rent out homes and things like that. And we're like, did you have and showing the picture. They were showing his picture and was like, have you seen this guy? Did you rent out anything to him? Blase blase. So Irvington is like actually kind of a small town inside of a city. And they some other detective was like, you know what, we should put it out there to the surrounding, like towns, whatever. So they sent a picture to these towns, and one of them was Irvington, and that's when they figured out where his house was that he was staying at with these kids. So he
I
went
have a
to
quick
search.
question.
Uh-huh.
The mother of the children, is she dead or is she alive?
No, she's alive. Holmes had told her that he wanted to take the kids because the kids were with Pitzel and
Yeah,
Holmes or
I
whatever, and
just
then
never
Pitzel
knew.
died.
I just never knew if she was alive.
No, she
This
was still
poor
alive.
woman.
Yeah, she was still alive.
Imagine she found out
Um,
like when the press and everyone did.
she did.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Because they actually the kids, there's pictures of the kids. I didn't put those up there just because that was like a little too much to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go look up the Pitzel kids, you can go look them up, a picture of them, because like they actually, put them in the news and stuff because they actually found their bodies. Well, they found the girls. I'm gonna tell you what they found in the boy, but yeah. So yeah,
Can imagine
it's
how
crazy.
heartbreaking that is.
Hmm. Oh, absolutely. Um, So this detective in Irvington, he went to the house. He had people, like a team go with him. They went to the house. They looked everywhere, just they couldn't find anything. So at nighttime, like when it was about to be dark, they were like, "Okay, we'll come back tomorrow. We'll look again, whatever." And after they left, there was three boys, like three young boys that decided they were going to go look for the body at this house. So,
Oh.
yeah, after dark, after all the police had left, they're like, "Come on guys, let's go look for this body." So, they look all around in the house or whatever, and they found like they go to the chimney and they actually pull out like chimney debris, and in the debris they can see bone and teeth.
Oh shit.
Um yeah. So
Oh, hold
these
on. I cut out. What happened?
so the detective in Indiana decided that he was going to go. He got a team. They all went and looked through the house. They couldn't find anything. And they left. They were like, we'll come back tomorrow and see, whatever. We'll search again. After they left, there was three young boys, I guess, that just lived in the neighborhood that decided they were going to go and look through the house to find the body. Um, I wonder if maybe they played with the Pitzel boy when he was there. I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe
It
they
just
were
seems kind of. Go ahead.
maybe they were like making it like you know how like kids are, like they'll dare each other and they're like, "Oh, it's this big like mystery or whatever."
Hmm. Maybe. So yeah. So one of the little boys' names was Jenny, which I thought was weird, but whatever. Um. So yeah. So they went into the chimney. Basically, they pulled out debris from the chimney, and that's where they found the bone and the teeth of the little boy.
Okay,
So,
so you just told us one of the boys' name is Jenny. That's all. That's
huh?
Is there a reason you told us that one of the little boys' name is Jenny, or?
No, I just thought it was different for that time.
Yeah, I feel
Oh,
like at
okay.
that time it was very
Yeah. And Jenny was the one that actually found the debris. Because, like, they had told
Uh,
the other two boys had told him to put his hand in there and pull out debris. And I don't think they thought they were going to find anything. But when he did,
I wonder
that's
if
when they found bone and teeth.
the kid that found it was like the youngest and they were just like fucking with him.
Probably.
And they're like, "Oh, bet
Yeah.
you'll find something if you stick your hand up there." Because that seems like something that would
Yeah.
happen in like I know it. This isn't a movie, but like that seems like something that would happen in like a movie, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, for sure. So they took it to the detective that night. Like literally they left and they took it to the detective and he went there and they did whatever. And somehow they figured out it was from the pencil boy. Um at the same time, so at this time they found the two girls and the boy. At the same time that this is all going on in Chicago, police went to the murder castle and they found all the crazy rooms and the methods that he used for murders, and they located a bunch of bodies, but the bodies were so decomposed and dismembered they couldn't like tell how many bodies were really there.
Jeez.
Dang.
Yeah.
So
So and
there
again
could have been
too,
hundreds.
and again, if he's using acid and cremating them, again,
Yeah.
we really have no idea. So after all this, they send the information to Boston and they let him know, like, we have all of this. So he was actually charged for only 9 murders. And that's because those were like the bodies that they've pretty much found, I guess, or they really had a good suspicion of. Um,
Like they for sure knew that there were at least 9 bodies.
exactly.
Got it.
Um, you know what? I think it was spelled Jinny. So, but he actually eventually confessed to 28 murders.
28.
Um,
Jesus.
but they started investigating, looking at missing persons reports and like investigating like where he had been and the murder castle and all of that. They think that he's actually responsible for up to 200 murders.
Jeez. God damn.
200. Could you imagine being that fucking psycho?
And he's considered like the country's first like serial killer, and that's like,
Hmm.
can you imagine what like the cops and the detectives back then, like when they started finding this stuff out, how they must have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because it's like
Oh yeah.
more and more things. And can you imagine his poor wife, like his first wife, looking back like, oh, 200 bodies.
Hmm. Yeah. And I'm sure
I
she
could
was
have
like,
been one
well,
of them.
we were lucky. Yeah, she was probably like, we're fucking lucky. Me and my kid are lucky. And that's the thing though, too. The second wife, I there's nothing else about the child. Like I know that the child, there was a day that there was a, death date. So she lived a life. She lived her life. But I don't know how the second wife got out of it. I guess maybe he just left her in Chicago.
That seems like something he does, so I wouldn't put that past him.
Yeah, so it seems like Georgiana and the one he was excuse me, and the one he was engaged to. It seems like they were the only two that died, which still is terrible, but
I wonder
it's
what
just
made him
crazy.
want to leave the other two alive, or the other wives and kids alive, because clearly
Maybe
he
because
doesn't
he
have an.
thought he would come back eventually.
Maybe.
Because I mean, he was pretty young. So like let's think about this. He was born 1861. He was hung in 1896.
Oh shit.
So yeah, so he was only 35 years old. So he probably thought he was gonna get away with this forever.
And then go back to like his wife
Yeah,
and kid.
I
Damn.
guarantee it. Yeah,
This dude
because
is like smart.
that's how people are. They think, "Oh, I'll just leave
Well, that's how
and then come back when I want."
what the what was the who's that guy that just got caught in California? Like with a really big serial killer.
I don't know.
Was it the East Area Rapist? One
Like,
of
was it recent?
Yeah, he got caught recently. I just don't remember. Hold on. Uh,
So while you're looking up though, let me just kind of finish this out.
yeah.
But
Oh, sorry, real quick. It
so
was the Golden State Killer.
oh
They caught
oh really?
Joseph D'Angelo in 2018. Even though the last time
Oh
he
yeah yeah yeah
like did shit was in the 80s. So like he took a break and then he like went back to his normal life. They caught him like cooking a pot roast or something. Like he was
yeah.
just like
Okay, I
living like a
remember
totally
that.
normal life. So I guess it's like a thing that a lot of like
Yeah.
killers do, where they try to go back to a normal life after.
Yeah. And that's what I imagined he was gonna try to do.
That makes sense.
Because he was cocky, I'm sure. So he thought he was gonna make it through this, you know.
Yeah.
So after he confessed to the 28 murders, he was charged for the 9. Again, they think he was responsible for up to 200. On May 7th, 1896, he was hanged, dangled, hanged. Is it
Not
hanged?
dangled.
Dangled?
He was hung.
Excuse
Not dangled. That's definitely gonna send him after you. Uh,
me.
Definitely not dangled.
Yeah, he was charged. His trial was in Pennsylvania. Um, and that's where he was hung. And then you can actually go to the next picture. Warning, this may trigger people, but yeah. It's not of him like hanging or anything, but it's him about to be executed.
Hmm.
Oh, it's a drama.
But one last thing, which is I think is hilarious. Before his execution, he requested to be buried 10 feet in the ground, encaved by cement, so people would not dig up his remains and handle them wrongly. What? The nerve of
Don't
this
think you
guy?
get to make that request, my dude.
That is
But the
so
nerve
fucked.
of this guy. Like, you just did all of this terrible stuff to all these people, and you think that you can request this? No.
That is so fucked up. But you know what? I feel like later on they did probably do that, or they did like in
You think
cases.
so?
They've done that for a lot of like celebrity serial killers. Like a lot of people, even if they don't request it, they like people will go to their graves and like dig the grave up
I
and
don't
like
even think that they should be allowed a grave. Like, I don't think
yeah.
he should have been allowed a grave. I think they should have cremated his body and threw his fucking ashes in the trash. Period. I don't understand that. Why are we wasting
Yeah.
space for this person? Ugh. But so yeah, so I that was a lot of information, guys. Sorry. I couldn't
No, that
it was
was
just it was just so much good stuff. And I say good, but it was just like this everything I found, I was like, "Whoa, this guy is
More
effing nuts."
interesting.
I thought
Yeah.
I listened to a decent amount of like true crime and paranormal podcasts, and there was stuff that you said that I didn't like know about. Like I didn't know anything about like the kids in Toronto, or the fact that his partner had, I guess, had kids that he brought with them.
Mhm. That's crazy. See, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There was more I could have went into. Like I said, I could have went into a little bit more about the childhood, but I wanted to get into the, when he really started going nuts.
Yeah. No, that was super
Yeah.
interesting.
I hope everybody enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I Like I said, it's kind of funny. I actually knew a lot of stuff already because about 5 years ago, we went to Chicago for my birthday. My friends surprised me, and when we were in Chicago, we did a ghost tour, and it was all about H. Holmes. Like, it took us to like around to actually where he's buried, or where they did like a monument or something. We got to walk around, take pictures, and see if we saw anything. There's a whole situation with the theater, so we went there, and they showed us where the hotel was, and all of that good stuff. It was pretty cool. They actually so there's a book, um, it's called The Devil in the White City, and
I think I heard of that.
they Leonardo DiCaprio has actually bought the rights to the book, but he's actually had the rights for a long time. Like, he actually had the rights when I went on my ghost tour because the guy talked about it.
I wonder
Um,
if is there. I wouldn't be surprised if Leo DiCaprio would star as Holmes, and
oh, for sure.
he, not saying he has like a
Absolutely.
murderous like face, but he does have like that kind of face where he
Yeah.
can play that type of
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. I would think so. I think if he's gonna do it, he would. But I don't know what's taking so long. I don't know why they're, you know,
I'm sure with like
It's-
with covering or making movies about serial killers, there's a lot of like I feel like there's a lot of steps you got to go through.
yeah, maybe. But my thing is he gonna be too old to do it by the time they do it? I don't
That's
know.
true.
Anyway, so there's actually, if anybody else is interested in, more information, there's a ton of books out there. If you literally just search H. Holmes, so much comes up. The Devil in the White City is the big book that's out there. Not, it's not big, but like it's the more known book about it. So yeah, yeah. Again, I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Super
It
interesting.
was cool. Yeah, he's nuts.
He's
Period.
nuts. All right. Are y'all ready for spooky Annabelle? Who I'm
Sure.
actually
Yes.
terrified of. So, quick note before we start. If you guys didn't know, I'm a huge believer in that stuff, so I'm just
Yes,
gonna
he is.
I'm gonna put that out there that I mean no disrespect towards Annabelle or anyone or
Yes.
anything involved.
I do. Fucker.
I didn't say that.
We don't believe what Mother believes.
I do not believe in what you believe.
We
So
respect you.
that being said, pretty much all of the notes, like I said at the beginning, is a direct copy and paste from Tony Spera's report on Annabelle for the New England Society of Psychic Research. For those who don't know, Tony Spera is a paranormal researcher, and he is the son-in-law of Loraine and Ed and Loraine Warren. And he's worked with them since the mid 1980s, and he's considered one of the highest or most respected paranormal researchers. And
He's still alive?
um, I think so. I didn't like see if he
Cool.
died or anything. But like I
Gotcha.
said, all of my notes are from his website, which is tonyspera.com/Annabelle, but that's gonna be in the description of the video. There was a lot of different websites in each that like covered Annabelle, but some of them would like I like to think I already knew a decent amount of Annabelle about Annabelle, but I didn't want to mess anything up, so I was trying to find a single credible source. I wasn't pulling from like several different uh sites, and then I found his site, and I feel like what better way than to just recite everything that the son-in-law of Ed and Lauren knows. Um, so yeah,
Probably the most credible source that there is.
yeah. So pretty much all of his notes, from what I'm taking, or from like what I've seen, is are the same notes that Ed and Lorraine Warren had. So yeah, and again, it's all for New England Society for Psychic Research, and that is also very like up their company brand. They do a lot of
Right.
stuff with the paranormal stuff, so they know what they're talking about. Um, and okay, Mama, no worries. So on the screen, that is the original Annabelle. Um, if you guys have seen the Annabelle movies, the Conjuring movies, I think she's in Conjuring, but the Annabelle movies,
Yeah.
it is they kind of a lot of a lot of what happens in the movie is true, but of course they made the doll look scarier because at first the Raggedy Ann doll isn't that scary. So if you
I
have
don't
seen the
know.
Annabelle
She
movies,
really looks fine to
I
me.
think it's scary, but I also think it might have been like a copyright thing from the
Yeah,
people who own
probably.
Raggedy Ann. Yeah. Um. So yeah,
They
that's
probably didn't
Annabelle.
want bad.
What was that?
They probably didn't want like a bad name.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it makes sense. So yeah. Again, I'm gonna read my notes directly from the website. I moved some stuff around. I changed some of the wording. But in general, it's pretty much the same as his website. Um, but yeah. And again, a lot of the research and the information on Annabelle is the same because there isn't really much research or information on her. And that's the case for a lot of the statues and the stories and the figures or whatever you want, the spirits, whatever you want to call them, in Ed and Lorraine Warren's museum. A lot of them have very like there's not much story behind them. Like what you get is what you get, and you can't
Yeah.
really find much. They kept a lot of their personal notes to themselves. Ed and Loraine Warren did. So what I'm about to read is pretty much all the information out there on Annabelle. There are a few other things I didn't include. I don't have pictures of the like Donna, Angie, Lou, the people who were first given the Annabelle doll. I didn't want to include their photos. I felt like that wasn't right. So the photos
Kind
I
of an
have,
invasion.
yeah. So I have the photos I have are of Annabelle and Ed and Lorraine Warren, pretty much. All right. I guess we can start then. So Annabelle, the little Raggedy Ann doll, is an allegedly haunted doll housed in an occult museum of the paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. Uh, Ed was a self-taught and self-professed demonologist, author, and lecturer, while Loraine professed to be a clairvoyant and a light trance medium who worked closely with her husband. If you guys have seen the movies, how I think it's in Insidious, how the person who plays Lorraine Warren, how she kind of enters that I don't know what they call it. It's like the middle ground where she can see the spirits and like walk through that realm. Lorraine was
Yeah.
she actually did that. She said so. A lot of what you see in the movies is taken directly from what happened, which I think is pretty cool. Um, in 1970, a mother purchased in in the year 1970, a mother purchased an antique Raggedy Ann doll from a hobby store, and the doll had been a birthday present for her daughter Donna, and it also counted as a graduation gift for nearly completing her nursing degree. Now, Donna lived in a pretty small apartment with her roommate Angie, and they were both, from what I've read, both Angie and Donna were nursing students. Um, and right off the bat, Donna loved this doll. She always kept it on her bed in her room, and she always would often like talk to it. You know, she didn't just throw it in the closet. Like she respected it, and she always had it there. However,
Talk to it.
I guess it's a thing people do. I don't talk to my dolls. I don't have dolls, but
Yeah.
she would talk to it. She would like say
Oh.
hi to it and stuff like that. Um, However, within days, Donna and Angie both noted that they felt an eerie, unsettling feeling whenever they were around the doll. If they would walk by, the doll mainly stayed in Donna's room for the first half of it being with them. So whenever they would walk by Donna's room, would go into her room, or would even like look towards the room, they felt like an eerie dread wash over them. And they felt like somebody was watching them, like something was wrong or something was about to happen. Pretty soon after they got the doll began to move around the house, and it started off as small movements as first, such as her legs being crossed and then being uncrossed, her hands moving or being crossed and then uncrossed, and her head slouching over and then lifting back up on its own. But as the time passed, the movements became more more noticeable and more frequent. Donna and Angie would often come home to find the doll in a completely different room, sometimes sitting or standing on its own. And again, this is a Raggedy Ann doll. It's not like one of those dolls that have like stiff legs where it can like stand up on
Yeah.
its own against a dresser or whatever. It's a Raggedy Ann doll, so it really doesn't have a reason for it to stand up on its own. Um,
That is ridiculous. Yeah, because like they're soft as heck.
mhm,
You can't see the picture, you can't see the whole body, but like, and even to this day, it's
yeah.
literally all made of cloth and then like stuffing. So how in the hell?
You can see in that photo on
Oh,
screen now, that is Lorraine Warren holding the original Annabelle doll, and you can see it pretty much like it slouches. Like it
Yeah, like
under
flops over.
yeah, so she's holding it behind its head and under its legs. Then everything else
mhm.
is kind of slouches over. So there shouldn't be a reason why the stall is moving on its own.
Like, yeah, and like standing up. Like
Yeah.
that's legit insane. No.
Um Sometimes the doll will be found with its legs crossed, arms folded. Like I said, other times it would be found complete upright, standing on its feet, and on several occasions after leaving the doll on the couch before leaving for work, Donna would often return home to find the doll back in her room on the bed with the door closed. And I read that the
Well, I
doors
mean,
were like
private
super,
time.
yeah, private time. I read that the doors were super, because it was an older building. The doors were super, like, you
Mhm.
had to pull them shut, like they're really big oak doors. Um,
I believe that because houses were made more strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About a
That's
month.
crazy.
It is like terrifying. So, like I said,
Mhm.
the stuff we see in the movies, the Annabelle movies, they were released in like not the chronological order of how it happened, and of course,
Mhm.
some scenes are like exaggerated for the sake of the movie, but there are some scenes and some moments in the films that are very factual. Um, but again, like the beginning history of the Annabelle doll, where they found Annabelle before Donna and Angie got it, is from what I haven't been able to find anything, but that beginning half where it came from is a complete mystery.
Really?
hmm Maybe there's stuff out there that I just didn't see, but I didn't find anything that was like 100% fact. Like this happened. Like this is
Yeah.
where it came from. And that's like a lot
Mm.
of the stuff in the Ed and Lorraine Warren Museum. A lot of the stuff they have, they don't know the full history for. They just know that there's something attached to it or something's using it as a vessel and it's haunted, and they only know a brief amount of history around it. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Okay.
Which is weird. Why, like to me, if I'm in this, I don't know, career, I would be trying to find out as much as I could.
Well, yeah. After
Oh
I feel
yeah,
like
they
after a
probably
certain amount,
but
after a certain point, you kind of lose the track. Just ends.
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah.
Um, about a month into their experiences, Donna and Angie began to find messages on super old parchment paper that read "Help us" and "Help Lou" in the handwriting of a small child. And I'm gonna explain who Lou is later on, but the
I was
type
gonna
of
say it helped Lou. Lou knows Raggedy Ann.
yeah, apparently, um, he's also like yeah,
He
um,
would.
right. So the way that at first they thought it was a friend or something messing with them, but then Donna realized she had never kept that specific parchment paper in her apartment. But then they continued to find it all over the house even after nobody was home. And again, the handwriting was in that of a small child. So, letters were backwards. It was all like squiggly and stuff. And of course, at the beginning, Donna and Angie thought it was like the other was like messing with them. A friend was coming in messing with them. At
What
one
the
Mhm.
heck?
point, they thought it was Lou that was sneaking in and messing with them.
Mm.
But I'll explain it a little bit. But Lou pretty much off the bat hated the doll. He As soon as he found out about it, he wanted it gone, and he was a good friend of both Angie and Donna's. One
Interesting.
night, Donna came home to find the doll had moved again. This time, it was on her bed, and at this point, she's kind of used to it moving. They're like, okay, something's weird going on, but nothing bad has happened up until now. As Donna inspected the doll, she saw that it looked like it had blood drops on the back of its hands and on its chest, and it was coming seemingly out of nowhere. And the red substance had appeared to have be coming from the doll. Shortly
Mm.
after, Donna and Angie contacted a medium, and a seance was held to clean the house. Um, quick note: if y'all got something in your, I'm not like a ghost hunter or whatever, but if you guys have something in your house and it's moving on its own, and you're starting to find blood, and you're finding weird notes, do not do a seance. That is the one thing that
Yeah.
you might as well
Yeah.
just sage the house right off the bat. That is gonna piss it off incredibly. And I explain it later on, but when you acknowledge something, you are giving it power. And then when you give it
Yeah.
power, you're giving it pretty much permission to use your energy, the energy of the electronics around you, and whoever steps into the house. So doing stuff like a seance, saging the house, not doing like a general sage, that type of stuff, it is really bad. Don't do what the movies are telling you and just go in there and sage it and think it's going to be okay. Chances are you're not going to do it right, and chances are you're going to piss off whatever's in there. When you acknowledge something, like I said, you're giving it power and permission. And you're going to see here in a bit, that's exactly what happened with Donna and Angie. So after they contacted a medium, and a seance was done in the house, they found out that, or they were introduced to the spirit of Annabelle Higgins. And apparently, Annabelle was a young
Mm.
girl who resided on the property before the apartments that Donna and Angie lived in were built. Annabelle often describes the time where she was alive as happy times, and Soon they
She's
found out
lying.
she's straight up lying. And soon they found out that Annabelle was a young girl of only 7 years old she was only 7 years old when her body was found in the field upon which the apartment complex now stands. The death
Mm-mm-mm.
of Annabelle Higgins is pretty much, again, nobody knows exactly what happened. And again, nobody knows if Annabelle Higgins was an actual child, an actual human.
It's a
Um,
demon.
the spirit related to the medium, or relate to the medium, that she felt comfortable with Donna and Angie because they were women and they were nurses. And the spirit of Annabelle, knew that if she needed anything, that these nurses, these doctors, would help her. And because of that, she wanted to stay with them and she felt loved with them. And of course, because of this, feeling compassion for Annabelle and her story, Donna and Angie gave her permission to inhabit the doll and stay with them.
Mm-mm-mm.
However, once she gave Annabelle permission to stay, the activity started up again.
Well,
And
yeah. You know what they need to do? Get the bleach and the sunflowers. We've already determined this.
demons don't like bleach
God.
and they don't like sunflowers. It's send that bitch on a
We've
vacation.
learned. Mhm.
So,
It's so crazy to me that people are just like, oh, whatever, sure.
well, and
Hey,
back then
take
they
this.
couldn't do like right now we could do a simple like Google search and find out, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. But back then, all they knew was that this medium was telling them it's okay.
But
And
all
then you
they knew
find
that this
out
doll was walking around their house. Like, that's not enough for somebody to be like, if you had a doll walking around your house, would you, like, the first thing you would do is take this thing and throw it away or burn the shit out of it, right?
And
exactly.
if you're burning it, it doesn't really get rid of it. It
So
just releases energy.
that I kind of
Mm,
explain the whole vessel thing here in a minute. But what you just
okay.
said now, about when you see stuff walking around. So now here comes Lou. Lou was friends with Angie and Donna, and right off the bat, he didn't like Annabelle. And if you remember earlier, I mentioned that Annabelle wrote numerous notes about helping Lou, save Lou. She didn't like. You'll find out that Annabelle didn't like Lou as much as Lou didn't like Annabelle, because the whole so spoiler alert, it's a demon. And
In
it's,
case you did.
in case you didn't know, for demons and for spirits, it's a lot easier for them to gain acceptance from women, because women have a sense of compassion and they instantly want to help. So when it's the spirit of a young child comes up, you, even if it's just like the spirit controlling you to do it, it's in most women's instincts to want to help the child.
And spirits and demons are like, they're different.
Yeah, so
Spirits,
demons have never been alive.
yeah,
Spirits
demons
Right.
have
are those who
never
have
been
passed.
human.
And
Yeah.
for obviously demons have more power. They don't need your permission to do stuff, but when you give them permission, it gives them power. Spirits, it's kind of like they have like a battery pack of what they can and can't do. uh, Certain things take more energy. So if your lights start flickering, that's if it's a spirit, it's taking a lot of their energy to flicker those lights. However, if it's a demon, it's like they're flipping the switch. It's nothing to them. Um,
Mm,
so acknowledging a whatever, be it a spirit or a demon, it gives it energy and it gives it permission to step foot into your house. And because the demon was able to convince Angie and Donna that it was a little girl, their compassion kicked in and they instantly wanted to help, even if they didn't 100% consciously want to do it. So I guess that a lot of people say at this point that's when the demons started to possess them and influence them to be okay with the idea of them. Because beforehand they didn't like the doll was walking around, but the whole reason why Donna didn't get rid of the doll was because it was a gift from her mother, and she didn't want her mother to be like what the fuck, why would you do that, that was a gift. So she, I guess in the back of her head, maybe Donna felt like it's not the doll, like maybe it was something else.
listen,
uh,
if I ever give you guys a doll, first off,
I'm throwing that shit in the
that's
trash.
like,
My mom had
look
a
at me and be
doll that
like,
she
are
bought.
you drunk?
My mom bought a doll from eBay, and I made her sell it to her. I made her
What?
give it away to her friend Because that shit, like, I'm telling you, the weeks we've had it in the house, I had the worst sleep of my life. I kept hearing stuff running around, and I just had nightmares. And I told her, I'm like, if you don't get rid of this doll, I will. She got rid of the doll.
Mm-mm-mm.
So it's like, I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with the dolls.
You know what's crazy is actually growing up, I had porcelain dolls. Like I had tons of them. My best friend, she hated when she came over, she'd sleep in the living room because she hated being in the room with those dolls. Like a
Dolls are
shit ton of
terrifying.
them.
I
And now
do.
that I think about it, I'm like, what the fuck was my obsession with these dolls?
A lot of the time, it's like, I think the whole motherly compassion thing plays in for a lot of girls, and that's why a lot of, like, when you notice, like, stereotypically, in the Annabelle movies, the doll Annabelle was in a school of girls. It was an all-girls school,
Mhm.
all female teachers, except I think there was, like, one male teacher who knew off the bat it was bad.
Mhm.
So, it's easier for spirits and demons to play off the emotions of women because women are more vulnerable, even spiritually speaking. Even if we don't want to admit it, it's a thing. It happens. Men are
Mhm.
more closed
Yeah.
off. They're quick to turn off their emotions because in a way they are more logical to these things. Going back to Lou, he has never been fond of the doll, and on several occasions he did warn Donna that it was evil and that she had to get rid of it. But like I said, because it was a gift from her mother, Donna had a tie to the doll, and she ignored Lou's pleas to get rid of the doll. And even on occasions where Angie admitted to Donna that she didn't like the doll, Donna did not want to get rid of the doll. One night,
Mm.
while spending the night at
Mm-mm-mm.
Angie and Donna's apartment, it was, I believe, the next day. Yeah, the next day they were going on a road trip. So Lou spent the night. And then in the middle of the night, he woke up from a bad dream. And then he found himself experiencing a form of sleep paralysis. For those who don't know, sleep paralysis is when your mind is awake, but you can't move your body. And typically, people associate this with a spirit or a demon or something being in the room. And for Lou, when he woke up in a sleep paralysis, he looked around the room, he didn't see anything, but then he looked down at his feet, and that's where he saw Annabelle the doll sitting at the end of his bed by his feet. It began to
Mm.
slowly glide up his leg, moving over his chest before it stopped. Within seconds, the doll
Mm-mm.
was strangling him, and Lou described it as it felt like male hands were around his neck. That he could feel the cloth of Annabelle's hands, but then around, like something was holding the cloth hands to his neck. He could feel fingers around the rest of his neck.
Holy shit. Could you imagine?
Bro, sleep paralysis.
Like,
I've had it a few
literally.
times. Absolutely
Yeah.
terrifying. It is like
Mhm.
And
it.
with something
Without
like
the
that
hands.
happening,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
Oh my god.
Um.
I hope he never came back to that house again, apartment again.
Well, so paralyzed and gasping for breath, Lou, at that point of practical asphyxiation, he blacked out. He lost consciousness, and before he knew
Mm.
it, he woke up the next morning. And there were some reports that stated that he woke up already preparing to leave for the road trip. That he doesn't remember actually getting up and getting ready to leave, but he remembers passing out, and then when he regained consciousness, he was packing his bags. Um,
What the hell?
While preparing for a road trip the next day, Lou and Angie were reading over the maps alone in their apartment. Donna wasn't there. I'm pretty sure I think she was at work or something, when they heard noises coming from Donna's room. When he went to investigate, Lou saw that the room was empty except for Annabelle, who was tossed on the floor in the corner. Lou searched the room but didn't find anything out of the ordinary, but as he got close to the doll, he felt like someone was right behind him. When he turned around, he didn't see anyone, but immediately felt a stabbing pain in his chest. His shirt was stained with blood, and upon opening his shirt, there on his chest was what looked like to be 7 distinct claw marks, 3 vertically and 4 horizontally. And they all began to rise like hot burns. Like, when you burn yourself, the skin starts to rise.
Yeah.
That's what happened with all 7 of those marks. These scratches, how as bad as they were, uh, they all healed almost immediately. Half were gone by the next day, and they were fully gone by day 2. Um, After the attack on Lou, Donna finally admitted that the presence in the house was not that of an innocent child, and she knew that Lou, being Lou, I guess he was the more sensible friend, that he wouldn't make up this type of stuff. He wouldn't do that on himself. And Angie was there to experience the. So it wasn't like he just made it up. Like, Angie was there to see it.
Right.
Um, she she finally admitted that the presence in the house was not that of an innocent child and that they were in trouble. Donna then contacted an episcopal, I think it's called, an episcopal priest named Father Hegan. And Father Hegan then felt it was a spiritual matter and that he needed to contact a higher authority in the church. So he contacted Father Cook, who immediately contacted the Warrens. If you guys didn't know, back then and even today, being approved for an exorcism, it takes a lot. It's not like 2 phone calls.
Yeah.
It's the local
Yeah.
church has to call the Vatican, and it has to be approved. So for this to get approved
Mm-hmm.
within, it doesn't have an exact time, but it got approved pretty quickly. But then for Father Cook, was kind of like, they never really explained who he was, but he immediately contacted the Warrens. And like I said, Ed and Loraine Warren immediately took interest on the case and contacted Donna concerning the doll. The Warrens, after speaking with Donna, Angie, and Lou, came to the immediate conclusion that the doll itself was not in fact possessed, but was manipulated by an inhuman presence. They noted that spirits do not possess inanimate objects like houses or toys, they possess people. An inhumane spirit can attach itself to a place or object, and this is what occurred with the Annabelle case. The spirit manipulated the doll and created the illusion of it being alive in order to get recognition. So basically what that means is spirits can't possess things, they attach themselves to it. So something can't possess a doll. So Annabelle wasn't possessed, there was a demon attached to it, which is a very different thing. Possession is where it inhabits your body, your soul, and it controls you from the inside out. An attachment is where it controls it from the outside. So it's like moving its hands around. It's like a demon standing there moving the doll around.
Gotcha. Which
This,
makes sense with how he described being choked.
yeah. So the spirit, or in this case, an inhumane demonic spirit. Again, spirits are people who've passed away. Demons were never humans. They have no soul. Arguably, they're only here to wreak havoc. The demonic spirit was essentially in the infestation stage of the phenomenon. Infestation is when it begins to. So, basically, it first began moving the doll around the apartment by means of teleportation to arouse the occupants' curiosity in hopes that they would give it recognition. So the more recognition the doll got, the more power the demon got, because it knew it could mentally, like mess with these people. Then, predictably, the mistake of bringing a medium to the apartment to communicate with it. The inhuman spirit, now able to communicate through the medium, preyed on the girl's emotional vulnerabilities by pretending to be a rather harmless, lost young girl, by which during the seance was allowed permission from Donna to haunt the apartment. So, from that, they pretty much state that the demon possessed the medium. So, it was, which in some cases, yes, that happens. A spirit can possess a human, a medium, for a specific amount of time, short period, whatever, in one way or another, to get their message across. But at that moment, when the medium said it was a little girl and that it was okay that they invited it to stay with them, that was the demon controlling the medium and telling her to say that.
Oh.
Um,
Wow.
yeah. So as a demon is obviously a negative spirit, it then set about causing potentially negative phenomena to occur. More fear. It started to cause more fear through the. Sorry, I lost my place. It caused more fear through the weird movements of the doll. It brought about the materialization of disturbing handwritten notes, the symbolic drops of blood in the doll, and ultimately even attacked Lou, leaving behind the symbolic mark of the beast, which is the 3 scratches. For those who don't know,
Yikes.
the number 3 is supposed to symbolize the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and that is often used as a mocking sense by demons and evil spirits to kind of like give you a sense of like, oh hey, we're good, but they're using it to kind of like make fun of you for believing in it. So when Lou was scratched, he was scratched 7 times. He had there was 4 down his chest and 3 across, I believe. So that was the demon in a cross symbol on his chest, including the 3
Mm.
scratches, mocking his belief in religion.
Oh, wow.
The next stage of the infestation phenomenon would have been complete human possession. And Ed and Loraine note that if these experiences have lasted for another 2 or even 3 weeks, the spirit would have completely possessed, harmed, and potentially killed one or all of the occupants, and like it was nothing. At the
Jeez.
conclusion of the investigation, the Warrens felt it was appropriate to have their it was appropriate to have an exorcism blessing done by Father Cook to cleanse the apartment. A direct quote from Ed Warren is the episcopal blessing of the home is a wordy 7-page document that is distinctively positive in nature. Rather than specifically expelling evil entities from the dwelling, the emphasis is instead directed towards filling the home with the power of the positive and of God. So, exorcisms aren't expelling evil entities. It's more so bringing the positive out to weaken the evil. Which is
And
why,
you said it was 7 pages.
yeah, a 7-page document.
Yikes.
Which is why doing a seance at the beginning was a bad idea, because a seance is essentially drawing out the evil and trying to like smush it down. So don't do a seance unless you know what you're doing, unless you're aware of what it is or what's in the house. At Donna's
Yeah.
request,
You're gonna bring in you could bring in other things too,
yeah. So when you do
can't you? If you do a seance?
a seance, you're essentially opening a door, and then
Right.
between the seance starting and it ending, anything that is waiting right there can come in. And unless you have the knowledge and the power, and ultimately the confidence that is needed to push all those spirits back out, um,
Mhm.
you're kind of inviting it to inhabit the house. Kind of like in Insidious, where the dad had a specific amount of time to get his son back. Because as he was
Right.
dreaming or whatever it was, all those spirits were there. They were getting stronger and stronger the more they were there, because they were reliving moments of their lives, or reliving the fear that was there if they were demons. And then
Right.
because the door was open for so long, spoiler alert, the dad becomes possessed at the end. It's a demon, not the dad.
Mhm.
Because the door was open for so long, that's what you're essentially inviting more demons into the house. Moral of the story: don't do a seance.
Yeah.
Unless you're a priest, don't do it. Um, at Donna's request, and further precaution against the phenomenon ever occurring in the home again, the Warrens took the ragdoll back home with them when they left, even though they said that the demon was no longer there, that they could leave the doll there and it'll be fine. Donna and Angie and Lou felt like it had to be gone. Father Cook, although uncomfortable with his role as an exorcist, agreed to perform the 7-page rite of exorcism, a doctrine he recited throughout the apartment, at which point the Warrens were confident the entity would no longer reside there. They agreed to take the ragdoll back home with them after Donna pleaded with them. Upon leaving, Ed placed the doll in the back seat and agreed that he would not take the interstate in the event the inhumane spirit still resided with the doll. Oftentimes, Ed and Loraine Warren would show up to an event. I call it an event, but would show up to they showed up to the Annabelle place in separate vehicles, just in case something were to happen.
Oh.
But he agreed that he wouldn't take the interstate home in the event that the inhumane spirit was still there. His suspicions were all too correct in no time when the and
Hold on, hold on. Sorry, can I ask a question real quick?
yes.
Why couldn't they take the interstate?
So I'll explain it here in a bit, but in case the demon was
Okay.
still there, it obviously, so now that they acknowledged it and they tried to exorcise it, uh, it knows that it has power, some sort of power over the Warrens, because they know it's there now. And for those, so if you are a medium or a clairvoyant or you do stuff like ghost hunting, you are opening yourself up to that, so you are more vulnerable. to
Gotcha.
get, to experience these things.
Right, right. Which that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're more aware of it.
Yeah, so the more aware you become of it, the more possible it is it's going to happen. I actually plug my laptop
Gotcha.
in before it dies.
I'm not talking much. I just don't know what to say.
Oh, it's okay. I'm like speeding through this.
You are going very fast. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
No,
I'm just
if there's anything like you want me to re-say or whatever, let me know. I just like I get very nervous talking about Annabelle. Like if you guys could see me, I'm sweating right now, and I don't know what it is. It's just talking about Annabelle freaks me out.
Yeah, I mean,
So again, I can restate anything. I can answer questions,
I
whatever.
wish we could watch all of the Annabelles. Go ahead, sorry. That's besides the point.
And that's the thing. I love the Annabelle movies. It's just when I look at the dolls, it freaks me
Mhm.
out. It just makes me so uncomfortable.
Marcus loves dolls.
what?
I'm gonna get Marcus an Raggedy Ann doll for Christmas.
Don't, or I will.
He'll move in with the Asian Corey.
Ooh, then I'll have the house to myself. Let's go.
All right. So if
That
you
doesn't mean
see,
I'm gonna move out. I'm just gonna disown you.
Oh,
you
okay.
can't. Okay. So if you look on the screen, that is Loraine Warren with Annabelle, and that is Ed and Loraine Warren. Um,
Do you know how old they were in this picture? Sorry.
not in the picture, but Loraine
I'm just
died within the last
curious.
few years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that,
I
but
don't know
they
exactly.
look much older in these pictures than I thought they were when they were doing this,
They've
I
been
guess.
doing
Like,
it for a long time, like since pretty
okay.
much they met, and then I'm sure this stuff like stresses them out, and it like
Oh, for
aged
Yeah.
them
sure.
more. I don't
For
actually know
sure.
what year they were or how old they were when they died. I think Loraine was maybe in her 80s or 90s.
I know she was pretty old. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know about
I
Ed
felt
though.
that.
I'm just so boring. I get it.
No,
No, I'm
I was
tired as
yawning
heck.
when I was talking myself.
Okay, so where was I?
Hello?
Okay, so yeah,
Oh.
I was trying to figure out where I
Hello.
was. So,
Sorry.
like I said, Ed promised Loraine that he wouldn't take the interstate home in case the doll would try to do something, or whatever spirit resided with the doll wouldn't do anything. His suspicions were all too correct, and in no time the Warrens felt themselves as the objects of a vicious hatred. As pretty much as soon as the doll was in their possession, they felt nothing but pure anger around
Ugh.
it. When then at each dangerous curve, Ed Warren's car swerved and stalled with every corner, causing the power in the steering wheel and the brakes to fail. Repeatedly, the car would verge towards a truck or another car, attempting a collision. And then, right at the last second, Ed would regain control of the steering wheel and move the car away from the potential accident. Eventually,
Wow.
Ed reached back into the back seat of the car. He grabbed a black bag and took out a vial of holy water and doused the doll, making the sign of the cross over it. Almost instantly, the disturbances stopped, and the Warrens they arrived safely home. Um, After the Warrens arrived
Hmm.
home, Ed sat the doll in a chair next to his desk. The doll, right off the bat, levitated a number of times in the beginning of it being there. Then it seemed to fall inert.
Levitated?
Levitated. It would lift off the ground or lift off the seat.
Oh, thank you.
I forgot where it was. Oh, during the ensuing weeks, however, it began showing up in various rooms around the house. When the Warrens were away and they had the doll locked up in the outer office building, they would often return to find it sitting comfortably upstairs in Ed's easy chair when they opened the main front door. So this doll went from moving around a small, like 2-3 bedroom apartment to moving into buildings. So it was
I just
outside and
wanted
it
to
would
be
move inside.
comfortable.
Yeah, even demons
You
deserve to be
know,
comfortable, you know?
right. Oh, I did find out. Sorry. She they Ed was born 1926.
Oh
Loraine was
shit.
born 1927. So she died when she was 92. He died when he was 79.
Oh, he died pretty early, pretty young.
Hmm. Yeah, compared to her.
Mhm. I remember when she died. It wasn't that long ago, but it
Yeah,
was.
it was last year.
Yeah, I remember it was like this big shock because it was like
Hmm.
Yeah.
she was always there, and then she just passed away.
That's
Fun
crazy
little
though
not
that they
fun
made it through
story.
all of that.
Yeah, not fun story, but like a fun like a fact about it.
Hmm.
Apparently, when Loraine passed away, the people who were around her said they could feel the presence of her husband waiting for her. And then they felt like
That's
a cool like chill go through the room. And then when she passed
Mm.
away, the room was like really warm and they felt like calm. And then after a few
Oh,
minutes, they realized that like because they realized after a few minutes that they were together because it was like the same feeling I guess they felt when their parent the when Ed and Lorraine Warren were together, they people would often describe them as having like a warm sense around them, like you just felt okay around them, like you felt
I
calm.
love that.
So that was pretty sweet, yeah. So even in death they're together.
sad.
It's so
Um,
cute.
yeah. What was it? Where was I? Oh, the doll also showed a pure hatred for clergymen who often came to the house to bless the house, which is something Ed and Lorraine Warren had done often. In one instance, Father Jason Bradford, a Catholic exorcist, came to the house. Upon seeing the doll seated in a chair, he picked it up and said, you're just a rag doll, Annabelle. You can't hurt anyone." And tossed the doll back in the chair, at which point Ed explained, "That's one thing you'd better not say." Upon leaving
Yeah.
an hour later, Loraine pleaded to the priest to be careful driving home and to call her when he arrived home. Loraine discerned tragedy for this young priest, but he had to go his way, and he pretty much shrugged her off. A few hours later, Father Jason called Loraine and explained that his brakes had failed as he entered a busy intersection, and he was involved in a near fatal accident, destroying his vehicle. This was just one of the many
Mm.
events that occurred over the next few years towards Father Jason Bradford because he disrespected the doll. Which is why at the
Wow.
beginning I was like, no disrespect towards Annabelle. You do you. Don't do that
But
anywhere near me.
how, like, do you know? But to me, after he leaves, did he ever see her again? Or was like that the only time?
I I'm sure they saw each other. The like
I
with
mean,
the
like,
Warrens
was
and
it like
the father. I'm sure they did see each other.
Gotcha. Okay.
They just
Because I'm
don't
like, how
remember.
does it continue if you're not even around the doll?
Yeah, so I mean, pretty much with hauntings like this, all it takes is just one comment or one negative thought towards them, and that's
Hmm.
giving them the acknowledgement that you know that they have some form of power. So
Gotcha.
because Father Bradford picked up the doll and he said, "You're just a Raggedy Ann doll," means he knew of its story and he knew what it did and he knew the fear that the doll held or
Yeah, that's
held for
true.
everyone around
Gotcha.
it. It's like
Okay.
there's a bunch of different dolls, and some that I just refuse to say the name of because of how notorious their names are
oh
and how
yeah.
notorious they are. But all it takes is one bad look or one snide comment, and it's just the level of disrespect that it gives them the opportunity to leave whatever vessel they're in to fuck with you for any period of time, even if it's not for a
Gotcha.
full like not if it's not even if it's not like full time, it's still a part time thing. Like an example
Mm.
would be like in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, if you guys have seen that.
Hmm.
Susie's uncle was so bit of a spoiler for that. He was working in the mines, and then one day he just got really sick, and then it turns out he was possessed by a demon. The brief interaction Susie and Harvey and whoever else was there had with that demon was enough to give it power to reach them at their own where they lived or where they were, even though it's never visited that. So because the demon knows that they know that it's not human, and because Harvey knew that there was something going on in the mines, they what was that? Oh, Vox, thank you for the 300
Bias.
bits. Really appreciate it. That echoed in my ears and it scared me so much.
I
Thank you,
didn't hear it.
Vox. Um,
What was that?
I just looked around. I'm like, so what was I saying? Oh, because Harvey knew there was something going on in the mines, the demon pretty much sensed that he knew that there was something going on. So that was like a gateway, and because it wasn't there fully, it still had the opportunity to mess with them in one sense or another, because it did. In the show, they said because it touched him, because the demon touched them. All it needs is to know that you're acknowledging
Gotcha.
it, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah, that makes total sense.
let's see. The Warrens then had a special case built for Annabelle inside the Occult Museum, which is the museum that Ed and Loraine Warren had, and that's where she resides to this day. And since the case was built, Annabelle no longer appeared to move, but she is thought to be responsible for the death of a young man who came to the museum on a motorcycle with his girlfriend. Before I get to that, if you look on screen, that is the case that Annabelle is currently in. I believe there is. That's another photo of it.
What's that? What was that card or whatever on the front
So
of it?
that is a tarot card of the devil. Um,
Mm,
just because it's a devil card doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just it's a sign to warn off negativity.
gotcha.
And if you saw in the other photo, there was a sign of a cross on top of it. There's a sign that says "Warning: Positively, do not open." Um, I believe the door is locked, and it is there's holy water around it, and I think salt at one point.
Mm.
Yeah,
Um,
don't they have somebody come and bless it a bunch?
yeah, so a
Like,
lot of the items in the museum, especially the Annabelle doll, do get blessed very often.
Wow. Is that place still open?
I believe so, yeah. It was originally in their home, and I don't know if it was moved to an actual museum, but I think it's still open. And
Mm.
when, like, the Zack Bagins museum, you have to sign, I think you have to sign like a, I don't know what it's called. You have to sign something before you can go in knowing,
a
acknowledge,
contract.
yeah, you have to pretty much sign a contract saying, like, you're not gonna fuck with these dolls or anything in here.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
a young man came in with his girlfriend. They rode in on a motorcycle, and the young man, after hearing Ed's count of the doll, went up to the doll and began to bang on the case, insisting that the doll can put scratches on the people around him and that he wanted to be scratched. At this point, Ed said to the young man, "Son, you need to leave," and put him out of the building with a warning telling him to be careful on their way home. However, on the way home, the young man and his girlfriend were laughing and making fun of the doll and, making jokes when he lost control of his motorcycle and went on into a tree. The young man was killed
Oh.
instantly, but his girlfriend survived and was hospitalized for over a year. When asked about what happened, the young woman explained that they were laughing about the doll when they lost control of the motorcycle, and I don't think they found a reason as to why they lost control of the motorcycle. I think she described it as being like it felt like somebody grabbed the bars of it, and just pulled it to the side.
Mm.
And to end this very eerie, spooky tale of the doll, a quote from Ed is, "You do not challenge evil. No man is more powerful than Satan." And that is something Ed stated very often in his lecturings, his teachings, when he would do a blessing or whatever. Pretty much saying, you don't challenge evil. You just have to learn to control it and bring out the positive.
That's crazy. Does it say like what the girl like what she thought after that happened?
No, that's just all they had.
That's insane.
A lot of then, and there are other stories that happened.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's just like the most prominent one. You can see the doll at the museum. I know Zach Bagans tried to buy the doll a few times, but he tried to buy a lot of stuff from the Warrens. But again, they were very against it. I don't think they sold any of their stuff, and their stuff is being handled very carefully.
Yeah,
Um,
like keep him away from it. What the fuck?
yeah,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of at at some point it's like pretty known that there was a level of respect between the spirits and the demons that resided in that occult museum towards the
Mhm.
Warrens. So they knew that the whatever they did, the Warrens were on top of it, and they couldn't like they hadn't the Warrens had more power than them, and they tried, and a lot of like the spirits and the demons they tried to take over the Warrens or scare them out of there or gain power, but the Warrens with their beliefs and their practices, they knew that no matter what happened, and regardless of what happened, like they still had more knowledge over the demons. They knew what to do in that situation. So there was a level of
Gotcha.
respect between whatever was in there and the Warrens family.
Wow. Could you imagine being their daughter and having this museum attached to your house? It
It's
freaks me
scary.
out. It gives
Well,
me
a lot of
chills.
time, I think the Ed and Loraine they kept that room locked,
Yeah,
and
they
they
kept
like
it
Well,
locked.
I would
did
hope
not allow
so.
their kids in there. Like that was the one thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
but it's still there. Like just
yeah,
knowing that on the other side of the hall or door
and I'm
that
sure it like
these
fucked with the kids a
evil things are
lot.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like oh my god, I literally have goosebumps right now.
No, like the whole like moral of the story is, one, don't get dolls. Two, don't do seances. And three, if there on the chance that there is anything evil in your house, don't try to get rid of it. You have to bring out the positive, and I think that goes for a lot of like life in general. There's a lot of negatives, but pulling out the positive does
Also,
better than just pushing down the negative.
maybe don't
Mhm.
try and insult a a
Demon?
doll that has a demon attached to it.
Yeah. I don't think they ever found out what the demon's name was. I do know that once you find out a spirit's name and the demon, it kind of gives you a power over them. I don't
Yeah.
think they ever found out what it is. If they did, they kept it severely under wraps. Like they did a lot of stuff in the museum. There's a lot of stuff in there that they only give like one or two sentences backstory on what it is.
Yeah.
Um, I know there's this one statue. I think it's actually right behind when I saw a picture of the occult museum. I believe it was right behind the Annabelle doll, and it's this statue they found in a forest. Ed got a call from, I think it was a friend in a town over, and he got a call saying that there was a lot of cult stuff going on, and that specific area was extremely haunted, and that nobody could step foot in that area without getting like visions of like really fucked up shit, like murders and possessions. Like they would like mentally get drained. And then he went there, and he was one of the only people who was able to step foot into that specific area, and then he brought that thing home. He had a blast, and it's sitting right behind the Annabelle doll. But as to exactly what it was used for, they don't say. They just say where
Mm.
it's from, how they got it, and that's the case for a lot of the stuff in that museum, which I think is like what they have seen and gone through is like part of me wants to know, but another part of me is just like I'm okay with not knowing. You know?
Yeah. The museum's actually closed now.
Oh, it's closed.
That makes
Mhm.
sense.
They
Yes.
closed it in 2018. But
Sorry.
like what did they do with all the stuff?
I'm sure it's still
It's
there.
probably yeah, it's probably still there, but they just don't let anybody in there.
I'm sure they're working on like sending the stuff to like safe locations where they know it wouldn't be able to do anything. In
Mhm.
that case, I don't know where you would put a doll like Annabelle, where you would put that where it
Yeah,
wouldn't have impact on anyone around it. Like maybe like
Yeah.
an underground bunker, maybe, or
I
like in
don't
the
think
Yeah.
they're gonna
Arctics or
build an
something.
underground bunker for that though.
It's just, I think it's crazy, and I know I like sped through that, but pretty much that's like the general information they could find online, and that's like pretty much confirmed to have happened.
I think
Mm-mm-mm.
also the reason I was silent is because I knew all of that stuff.
Yeah, the story of
Just 'cause
Annabelle is
there's
pretty known.
yeah.
See, I didn't. There was some stuff I didn't realize.
Oh,
Well, there's just some. If you learn about Annabelle in detail once, you're never really gonna.
forget.
find out new stories about
I
it.
guess that kind
Yeah.
of makes sense, 'cause that was kind of me with H.H. Holmes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that I believe this all happened in Monroe, Connecticut. That's where I found that, like, that's what came up when I Googled it. I
Mhm.
don't know where the doll is exactly now, but
Well, that's where the museum was, for
okay, so it's
sure.
in Connecticut probably still.
Yeah.
And I know recently there was that thing where everyone thought the doll escaped. I don't know the
Yeah.
full
Oh,
story
yeah.
behind it, but a lot of people were like convinced that the doll escaped.
Sandra texted me and was like, "What the fuck is next?"
I did. I was just like, this year cannot get any worse. The fucking doll's out now.
Wow. That's crazy.
Well, after hearing spooky stories,
Are you gonna have good dreams tonight?
honestly, I don't
Probably.
usually have dreams, so I don't think it'll be any different.
Mm,
This, I think,
I do.
when like, no lie, when I texted you telling you I was gonna do the Annabelle stuff, I started
Hmm.
to like, not freak out, but like I started having like sleeping really bad. Like I haven't been able to sleep. Uh, been feeling sick, so I'm hoping if it is related to this, it ends.
That is so insane. Because you have been saying that this after you did say that you were gonna do the Annabelle story. It
Yeah,
just gives you like
it's
you
just like a
are
thing.
sensitive to that stuff, so it's like in your
Yeah.
mind.
I think I've always been somewhat sensitive. It's stuff where I was also gonna. I think next time I'm gonna cover the Winchester house because I did see because
Mm.
I think I showed you guys. I took pictures of the Winchester
Yeah.
mansion
Yeah.
and I caught Sarah Winchester in a photo,
Hmm.
and that kind of
Yeah,
like
I definitely think you
confirmed
should
it.
do the
That is
Winchester house.
like that house. Walking in there was like such an insane feeling for me. I just felt like I've never felt so at peace and also watched before. So
Mm.
it was weird. I went to the bathroom and I felt like somebody was standing right in front of me.
Oh
So,
no, I would not be going to the bathroom in there.
yeah.
Which
We
I
might cover
guess
that
we did
next.
go to the bathroom under where was that place we went to in Tennessee? We went on a ghost tour in Tennessee of an old asylum, but
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
they've turned most of it into apartments.
why? Most of it. Is there still like a
Yeah,
crematorium or something on the basement that they just kind of left?
like we went into a house, like there was part of a building that kind of looked like a house in the front of it. But it wasn't. Once you like got in there, it was like a building. And it was where I'm trying to remember who stayed in that part, but it's still like what it was after they closed down the place. So like we got to
Jeez.
go in there and to take pictures and walk around and look around and stuff. We found a dead duck.
Oh, yeah.
That is
It was pretty
sad.
That
cool.
there was a dead bird just in a hole.
Yeah, and like you could tell it had been there for a while because it looked
Yeah.
like if you touched it, it was just gonna like
Fall
Fall
apart.
apart.
turn into dust. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
That was
they
fun.
turned.
That was a fun thing.
Yeah, they turned. We got to go down in this tunnel that they have that I guess they used to take the bodies through and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, half of it was turned into apartments and like they
Oh,
had a
yeah.
restaurant in there and
I
stores.
remember I remember when we were there, some kids tried breaking in through the back.
Oh yeah, we were in the
Yeah.
one place they were trying to break in, and the guy that was with us caught them.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I
There's an
can't remember what it
asylum,
was
or
called
it's a
though.
penitentiary in Philadelphia, Eastern State. I went on the
Hmm.
Halloween attraction, and it is very creepy. Because, like, half of it is used as, like, a Halloween attraction, and then the other half is used as it's just left. So, like, one of the corridors, about, like, halfway down, there's people, like, jumping out and scaring you, and then beyond that, there's, like, a red rope, and it's just pitch black. Like, you just can't go further.
Yeah.
I want to so bad go to one of those places. Like I think
It's
there's one in
so
Indiana
fun.
actually. One of those places like to be able to stay overnight and like take
Oh,
pictures
yeah.
I think they
and do
do let
stuff
you
like that.
do overnight stuff there. You can like rent a tour or something.
Yeah, I
I
think
really
a
want
lot
to
of
do that.
places do. Yeah, that would be so cool.
I
And
am
then to
starting.
do like then talk about it afterwards.
Yeah,
Goal.
I think that's why I liked
Goal.
the Winchester house so much because it felt like I was like, it felt like surreal being in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then to get the picture
Oh, that
of
would be so
Sarah
cool.
Winchester at the end, I kind of like, I always thought whenever I like caught a photo or evidence, whatever, of a ghost, I'd be freaking out. Like when I saw it, I kind of just like looked at it, like after I took the photo, like 5 minutes later, I looked at it, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I just kind of like confirmed that that's a thing. And I like looked up, I'm like, because we went into that room where she was, and like I thought maybe it was a person, but it confirmed that that air, like she was standing by a window. And when I cover it, when we cover this, I'll put the photos up. But when the place where she was standing in the window was blocked off because it was in her bedroom, and in that room there it got hit when there was an earthquake. Half of that room got like really fucked up. So like nobody could stand that close to the window. Like if you're standing in the, like in the frame of the window, the people in the
Mm-hmm.
front lawn couldn't see you. So
That's
that area, I just kind of
insane.
like I walked in there, I looked down at my phone, I looked back up, I'm like, cool, okay. And I was just like,
And like,
thank
all
you.
right then.
And I just kind
You're
of
like,
like,
all right.
it was like weirdly confirmed, like it confirmed a lot of stuff. I was like, okay, cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how else to react. I showed my aunt, like my uncle, my cousins, and they were freaking out. And they're like, why aren't you freaking out? I'm like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I don't have to freak out. Like I didn't felt like I was gonna get injured there. I just felt like
Yeah.
it felt like somebody was walking with us the entire time. I'll tell you that. But that was
Yikes.
sick, dude. We definitely got to cover that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, with the Winchester house, like, are are there like I don't know. I think there's some places that have negative like entities and stuff, and some places just like don't. Even
Yeah.
if they
So
are like haunted, they don't really have that negative energy.
yeah. So I think the whole part of it was the only part I felt kind of weird and was in the seance room, and we don't have to get into that whole conversation now. But there were parts where I felt like this is I don't want to be in here. Then there were other
Yeah,
parts where I was just like, this makes sense that why she felt that way.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely got to cover that. But
Definitely.
I thought this was a great episode.
That
Yeah,
was fun. 3 hours.
Loved it.
I
I
And
think
am.
this has
I
been our
feel like
longest
most of that
episode.
was me. I feel like I need to shorten my stuff. I always
I
make
know
it too long.
yours is like the perfect length. I just talk really fast. I
You
can't
do.
help it. I need to like
Which I think I talk fast too, but
it's
Well,
that
also there's not a lot of information on Annabelle,
they're
so
really I tried, and a lot of it was just like one source would have it, but they wouldn't have like where they got that information from.
yeah.
So I just found
Yeah.
that this source from, the son-in-law of Ed and Lorraine Warren, I'm like, this is reliable. He was there
you
firsthand.
don't. Yeah, you
Yeah.
really don't
Yeah.
want to
I
be
get that.
telling stories that aren't like.
For sure. I get
Especially
that. That's
about
how it was.
a demon.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's how I was with the Gary house.
Yeah,
yeah.
you gotta be, I want to
So
be respectful.
yeah. I get that.
I think
All right.
that's, thank you, Marcus, again for guesting.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry
thanks.
I didn't have much to say.
No, I feel like with these topics, there isn't like
Yeah,
much to say.
I didn't want to like be disrespectful on accident or something like that,
Have
you
you
know.
seen us? We all talk over each other. It's fine.
Right. You see me, I'm like, wait a minute, stop. I got a question.
That's totally fine. I know I
Well,
talk fast, so I'm okay with
I
that.
wasn't saying being disrespectful about you guys. I was saying being disrespectful about
Oh,
the
to the
topic.
gotcha.
I was disrespectful towards
Gotcha.
Six Head. I don't remember his
I
name.
mean, F them.
And mole rat.
Yeah.
Pizza. And
Those
Holmes.
are Marcus's links. His Twitter and his Twitch are ThatGayRat. Again, it'll be in the link.
Stop it. Oh my god.
There'll be a link in the description of the YouTube video, along with all of our links and our sources used. And I'm gonna make a tab on our website that has the sources used for each episode, so it's all there. Um, if you'd rather
I've
look at
had
it that way.
to eat for like an hour, so I'm gonna go while
Are
you're
you gonna
there.
put the pictures on the website?
Yes, all the pictures will be there. Marcus, thank
Awesome.
you
Thank you.
again for hanging out and being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for letting me be a guest. I will definitely be on more episodes where I can actually talk.
Definitely.
Right. Bye.
Hi,
Love you
Marcus.
guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
But yeah, I will include all of the pictures and stuff. It's gonna take me some time to get that
Awesome.
set up, but hopefully not
Oh,
too
well,
long.
yeah.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Thank you
But
all for
yeah, I
being here. Vox, thank you again for the 300 bits. I really appreciate it.
hope everybody enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
and we did okay, because I know we don't speak great English.
It is my second language, so that is my excuse. I don't know what your excuse
I
is,
have
but
no excuse. None.
yeah, thank you guys again. I don't know if we're gonna rate anyone. I don't know if anyone's on, so I think this might just be a good place to end it.
Yeah.
Uh, anything else you want to say beforehand?
No. If you're not already following Sandra, follow her. She's awesome. Other than these podcasts, she actually plays games too.
Sometimes. Also, and follow Mama Marcus. I guess I could shout you out,
Oh, jeez.
Marcus.
Don't shout me out.
And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you,
Oh,
Lou
yeah.
and
Okay.
Fatcore and everyone for hanging out. Really appreciate it. If you want to know when the next podcast is gonna be, we're obviously gonna announce it in all of our social media, but it's also gonna be on the website. That's like the best place to check. Yeah.
Do it.
Yes. Thank you guys again. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.